So what's up? It's episode 20 of the Hangar Hangout. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're talking about preseason football. We're talking about freaking the Hassan Reddick situation. I got a whole posse of individuals in the back waiting to go ahead and jump out here and talk Jets with you guys. It's gonna be a fun night. So let's go ahead and just kick it off.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you what a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you what a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go.
It's episode 20 of the Hangar Hangout, man. I can't believe I've done 20 episodes of these now. I'm really proud of myself. The last time I tried to go ahead and do a consistent live stream, I was utilizing StreamYard and Ecamm and all this other stuff, and it just got too complicated. Got too complicated for me to use it. It made it very difficult to go ahead and just get in front of a camera and just talk football with you guys. But here we are, episode 20, the Hangar Hangout. We're talking about the preseason. We got the first taste of what the New York Jets football is going to look like this past Saturday. I personally enjoyed what I saw. And then, of course, we couldn't have an entire offseason where there wasn't some kind of drama or some kind of negative, some kind of same old Jets narrative to be thrown our way. We're going to also talk about the Hassan Reddick situation and what it means for the New York Jets. But tonight, I got a whole crew with me tonight, man. We're going to go ahead and bring them out now. I'm not going to waste any more time. We got freaking Talking Jets with Tigo in the house. Mike, the stat guys in the house. Adam, what's good, my man from WickerMedia in the house. It's been a while since I've gotten this many individuals on screen at the same time. Gentlemen, how are we feeling this evening about our New York Jets?
Pretty damn good.
Pretty optimistic, but then again, if you can't be optimistic in August, when can you be?
Good point. Mike?
Yeah, man, as a Jets fan, this is the greatest time of the year, the off season here. So this is probably one of the best training camps that I've seen in the last 10 years or more. So I'm really pumped up and excited for the season.
Yeah, man, listen, I'm with you, Doc. I think right now we've gotten a lot of wonderful tidbits from our fellow content creators and, of course, beat writers being able to go to these freaking training camps and just giving us the goods, right? Talking about how this team is playing well. Aaron Rodgers is looking like the Aaron Rodgers of old. You're seeing, tidbits of individual players coming out. And we're going to talk about the individuals as well. But you know what? To kick it off right now, again, preseason just happened. First preseason game was on Saturday. Personally, I thought it went pretty good. So I'm going to ask you guys to take it around. What did y'all think about how the Jets looked in their first preseason game? Mike, you go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, Gunny, I think the Jets did really well. We saw a lot of good things. I think the number one thing here is that we came away with that game with no injuries. And one of the biggest reasons why we came with no injuries is the fact that we didn't have any of our starters playing for the most part, except for, Joe Tippmann there, which he had the yips the past few weeks or so, but he looked really good in his limited snaps there. And there was no issues at all when it comes to snapping the football. So I was really happy about that. There were a lot of young guys that were making plays. We had Malachi Corley out there on offense, our third round rookie wide receiver that has just come on the scene here. He had a nice heads up play, being able to, I forgot who dropped it, but someone dropped it. It was Kuntz. So yeah, it was Zach Kuntz. He pretty much dropped the ball. Malachi Corley bent down, picked it up high, really heads up play, and was able to pick up some yardage there. So really, really excited for him. My boy, Gunny, as you know, Olu Fashanu, or Fashanu, however you want to call it. Right now he's Fashanu until others say otherwise. But I think he did really well. He had one of the highest PFF's ranking scorings in terms of the offensive lineman this past week. I think he is going to be a staple in this offense going forward. Obviously, he's going to be sitting behind Tyron Smith, hopefully the entire year, God willing. But I think he really shined. And yeah, so I just really think that there were a lot of guys flying around. We even were able to see Quantez Stiggers on defense. He had a nice tackle for loss there. I want to be able to see him more in coverage, but so far he's looking really good. So I think a lot of guys were moving around. They did really well.
Okay. Adam, how about you?
First of all, I think we should all have a moment of silence for the Jet career of Jimmy Charlo, which came to a very unfortunate end, the first victim of the MetLife Stadium turf. So, Jimmy, all the best, whatever you do from here.
Good luck.
I would say this. The biggest thing, besides the obvious injury thing that you're looking for in the preseason, is what kind of depth do we have? If a player goes down, do we have somebody who can fill in this spot? And even if the level of talent isn't the same, is it going to disrupt the flow of the offense or the defense or whatever position group it is? And I feel like we have steadily seen a deeper and deeper Jets team at all kinds of positions. Just look at the running guys. Last year, along with Breece Hall, we had Breece coming back from the knee injury, but we were still some of us were still excited about Dalvin Cook. And we were counting on Izzy to step into a role that he was not ready to handle. But, oh my God, these two running backs. Now, I was thrilled to death to get Braelon Allen. Didn't understand Isaiah Davis, but I figured, well, Davis has more experience. He can sort of hold the fort while Allen kind of gets up to speed. He's getting up to speed pretty dang quick. But we're going to talk about the running backs, but I think we have to look one level deeper. I thought the run blocking from a mostly backup offensive line was excellent. I really liked what I was seeing. With Fashanu and some of the other guys. So I thought Carter Warren had some pretty good tackles as well. I still find it I know the depth chart isn't the biggest deal, but how Max Mitchell is still ranked ahead of Carter Warren, I'm still not completely understanding it. Sorry, Tigo. But I was really encouraged by mostly what I saw on the offense. But now you're seeing other guys like JBC. Yeah, he gave up a long catch, but you know what? That coverage was tight. It was just a fantastic throw from Jaden Daniels. So seeing some of these guys last year who were drafted for down the road, that draft was more for a year down the road, 2 years down the road. Outside of Joe Tidman, Joe Douglas wasn't going after starters as much. It was pipeline guys. And we're kind of seeing some of those guys, some of them start to pay off. And with a guy like JBC, yeah, that is super encouraging.
I love it, man. I love what you're saying, man, what you're putting down. I really love the Bernard Converse freaking breakdown. To me, that was one of my big surprises in camp, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Go ahead, freaking Tigo. How do you feel about what you saw?
I was really my first immediate takeaway, like when the game ended, was outside of Aaron, how crazy is that every single one of the quarterbacks in our quarterback room right now is better than anything we had last year?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, we won 7 games last year, and I don't understand how. Because you see Tyrod Taylor go out there and operate an NFL offense, and like he had 2 throws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was like, but like seeing how he commands the huddle, how he gets the team ready, how he looks at the offense is just like, that's different. Even being able to see like Peasley and Martinez, like a camp battle that doesn't matter, but I'm so here for. Who's going to be the guy on the practice squad? Is it Peasley? Is it Martinez? Like, I'm so here for it. But like you said, Gunny, walking away with this idea of, I had this conversation with Ryan of Jets Talk 24/7 a couple weeks ago, which was, Eccles was brought in to be the DJ Reed replacement.
Correct.
Right? Like, that's what he is. Has Stiggers and now, more importantly, Jarek Bernard Converse made it a conversation of, you know what? Eccles' deal is done at the end of the year. So is DJ Reed's. Do you just let them both walk off into the sunset because you've found your guys in the 6th and the 7th round who can come in? Because that JBC, the only reception that he allowed, I don't think people understand just how perfect of a ball that ball could go one place and that's where it went. Because he was attached to that guy's hip. But like, to me, I loved watching the depth of this team, and you're starting to see the benefit of veteran leadership on this team coming in. I absolutely lost my mind in that in the beginning of the game when Olu Fashanu throws the fake punch. Because he didn't do that in college. But you know who does that all the time? Tyron Smith. That's a Tyron Smith thing. And the same thing is like when you saw Max Mitchell come in and certain things that he changed, and I was like, dude, that looks very Morgan Moses-esque. Like some of the things that he was doing in the run game reminded me of like he didn't do that last year. He didn't do that the year before. Same thing with Carter Warren. I love the fact that we're starting to see these young guys really take advantage of the fact that they are surrounded by Hall of Famers at their positions. And even the young players coming up and taking the responsibility of, yo, I'm a veteran now. I've been here for 3 years. When that BS call on Will McDonald for roughing the passer, right? The phantom roughing the passer call. And he comes off the field. Who's the first person that he's talking to? It was JJ.
JJ. Yep.
Immediately comes to JJ, and you can, I don't read lips, but I know what the conversation was. Bro, when you're going on him and he gets the arms out, yep, because they won't call you on it. And it's just like, this is what I hate that it's, I hate using this expression, but it's the iron sharpens iron. It's every rep, how can I get better? Every rep, how can I get better? Every rep, how can I get better? And having some of the best players, having Stiggers and JBC being able to talk to Sauce, the best corner in the game, having all of our young tackles being able to go to Tyron Smith, the best offensive tackle in the game, having a quarterback room with like 35 plus years of experience of like, and one of them's getting a gold jacket. Like, I'm so excited because the young guys have an opportunity to really make this an impact on this team. And we don't need them to, because the guys ahead of them are already the best in the business. And that is what I love about this Jets team this year.
I mean, y'all really are kind of taking the thunder like right underneath me. It's making it difficult for me to kind of find ways to articulate just how on point you guys were in regards to your analysis. First and foremost, shout out to everybody in the crowd hanging out with us today in the hangar. We appreciate you guys. Stack, Infrared, Dano. I see Wild Wave out there. I see freaking, again, Infrared, Clancy. What's good? Appreciate you guys for coming through. Jake Asman is in the house. Is this real right now? Is this the real Jake Asman or the fake? Not, that's the real Jake Asman with a super chat. This is a show that's bringing the heat. Appreciate you, Jake. Always welcome, brother. You already know if you're bored and you want to jump in, just shoot me a text. I'll shoot you that link. But appreciate all you guys. Johnny Boy, I see you in the building as well. Dan Murphy's in the house as well. All right, we got a full crowd today. But yeah, man, like you guys said it beautifully. I think the preseason kind of showed us a different aspect of the New York Jets, right? You're talking about none of our starters being out there with the exception, of course, of Joe Tippmann. And seeing those guys operate the way they did, which I thought was we got a little slow start in terms of some penalties. You saw Olu Fashanu get that early freaking false start, but then the dude became a wall. You couldn't get past him. You couldn't get around him. He had one of the highest freaking pass blocking grades over the weekend. And that's the kind of what we were hoping for when we brought him in. And I'm upset, Tigo, you brought it up, man, because the whole aspect of him mimicking Tyron Smith is something that I was really, really keen on. The punch out aspect. Again, I was going to go ahead and bring that up, but you beat me to the punch. This is what happens when you bring freaking top-notch guys onto the show to go ahead and talk football. You got to elevate your game a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and have to elevate my game to keep up with you guys throughout the evening. But in all actuality, when you look at this whole situation, man, when you look at what this team has been able to accomplish in the offseason, I know we were all excited about last season, and we should have been. We got Aaron freaking Rodgers. That was warranted. But I don't think we realized just how many holes the team had because we got Aaron Rodgers. We just assumed, hey, it's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Nothing else matters. Offense is going to operate fully. But what they've been able to do this offseason to go ahead and really add pieces around Aaron Rodgers to include that offensive line. Listen, I was team offensive line from jump. The acquisition of Olu Fashanu is already, in my opinion, paying dividends. Seeing how he's progressing in the way you just stated, because of the fact that he's being mentored by a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't think that can go. That's so undervalued. And the ability for us to go ahead and see him now in action in the preseason, again, dominating at that position at left tackle, goes to show that, without question, that was the right pick. That was definitively the right pick. What's great about it is the backup quarterbacks, to me, were where I was really excited. Watching the backup quarterbacks now, and I get it. People are going to say, oh, they're doing this against freaking, clerks, you know what I'm saying, guys who are going to stock shelves, and that's probably accurate, right? But the fact of the matter is, watching those guys operate and be the best player amongst all of those freaking, you know what I'm saying, store clerks, to include on their side of the football, lets me know that, okay, they're making smart decisions, making that throw outside of the pocket on a rope, freaking 45 yards downfield. That is an NFL caliber quarterback throw. I was thoroughly impressed with the backup quarterback play of the New York Jets. And let's be honest, we haven't seen freaking Jordan Travis, who I believe is going to be, the more and more I get to see him sit back and just kind of watch all this, the more and more confidence I get that this kid is going to develop into, at the very worst, a NFL caliber starter. So again, seeing those freaking guys in terms of Peasley, Martinez, I keep making his name, Martinez, operate to that clip. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't familiar with these guys' game. I had to apologize. I saw them play. I was like, I wasn't familiar with y'all game, and now I know. And I think you're seeing Aaron Rodgers freaking sprinkle or touch on some of these guys in terms of how they're making decisions and how they're seeing the field. I thoroughly enjoyed this freaking game, and I know it's freaking preseason. And yeah, perhaps, you know, that's because we haven't had football in so long, man. Maybe we're just hungry. But seeing the pieces, the depth pieces on this roster, be able to go ahead and play the way they did on Saturday was very, very refreshing. So personally, I too was a fan of it. You guys articulated it beautifully. But one individual I have got to go ahead and bring up specifically in terms of what really impressed me during this freaking preseason, Braelon freaking Allen. Braelon freaking Allen, to me, is somebody that I think the majority of us were fans of when we actually saw him get drafted. We didn't expect him to be there, but seeing him literally operate as beautifully as we thought he would coming out of college. How do y'all feel about Braelon Allen? Is Braelon Allen a running back one? I'm gonna go with you, Tigo, on this one.
Not on our team because we have the best back in the league.
Big facts.
But dude, I was so surprised with Allen because I always had faith that he would be the perfect complement to a running back room, right? Like that he is not the one, but the two. And every clip that's come out of camp and even this game, you start realizing it's just like, oh, he might be a 1B. He might just be a 1B because we have the 1A of 1As. There's only one running back better than Breece Hall in the league, and that's Christian McCaffrey. That's right. It. And it's just like, I don't know. I love Braelon, and my favorite part is going to be that every time he steps on the field, every time he gets the ball, defensive backs are going to have to make business decisions about whether or not they want to tackle that man. That's it. It's a business decision. You want to keep playing football, or do you want to be out with a broken collarbone? That's it. That's it. It's the same business decision that players had to make with Derrick Henry in his prime. And the best part is, dude can't even legally drink yet. He can't be in the celebration. He can't be in the celebration for when we make the playoffs. If a drop of champagne lands on his tongue when we're popping bottles, does the team go to jail? What happens here?
Somebody,
dude, I don't know.
You just have bridge when we come to it.
You just can't have him in the locker room. Got to send him home. Does he have a bedtime? And he's already this big. Like, dude, that's the whole thing. Is absolutely insane. Dude, we got a 1B in like the 4th or the 5th round, and it's insane because I don't remember when we drafted him because it was so long ago.
I wouldn't say it was the 5th. I think 4th was Jordan. I could be wrong about that. Adam?
It was earlier. It was definitely by the 4th.
I think it was 4th, no?
It was 4th. Yeah.
It was 4th?
It definitely wasn't the 5th round. Yeah, he was drafted. I remember it was the guy.
Round 4, pick 134, yeah.
Round 4. It had the British accent. Braelon Allen. That clip's going to go down in Jets lore of him announcing that pick.
You had him flipped, Gunny. Travis was the 5th round pick.
It was the 5th. My bad. All right.
Yeah.
Adam, what do you think about our boy Braelon Allen?
You know, when I did my previews on my show, and I was breaking down different positions, I had Allen, I think it's my 4th ranked running back in the entire class. But one of the things I really wanted was a power running back, because how long has it been since the Jets had a legitimate running back with some power? Because remember last year, we struggled so much. We talk about the quarterbacks, but still, red zone, those 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, those opportunities, we failed spectacularly. 3rd down was a nightmare. And I think if we had a running back who could get those types of yards, who could make those types of plays, even behind a suspect offensive line, those types of things make a difference. And I think if there's one thing, though, that I am surprised about, he's not so much a battering ram. He can run. He's got feet. He can move. He's shifty. He just has a heck of a lot of size to go with it. Plus, he blocks, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He wasn't asked to do that too much at Wisconsin. It was really only in his senior year where that started to happen more. And so one stat was that I saw that was pretty good because, we have a billion stats for everything now. But he finished with 24 rushing yards over expected. So that's 4 rushing yards over per carry. What that means is he gained 4 more yards per carry than the average running back would have been expected to gain in those situations. He creates his yards the way like a Steph Curry creates his own jump shot. I am super excited. The Killer Bees, I can't think of a better nickname for these two guys. I mean, Isaiah Davis may have to change his name legally. I don't know what. Maybe he should change his middle name to something that starts with a B. We need a third B in here. Because, man, I am so happy that the Jets got Allen. It looks like this is one pick very early on that could be one that we're going to love for a long time. Because, again, those mid-round picks, for years we couldn't hit on a mid-round pick. Our idea of hitting on a mid-round pick was Jordan Jenkins. Nice player, but not a difference maker. We've been getting some difference makers in these mid-rounds, and that's where the best teams make an impact in the draft is with those picks. Braelon Allen, welcome aboard.
Yeah, man. Listen, Braelon Allen, you know what? I'm gonna wait my turn. I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor to Mike because I got a lot to say about B. Allen as well. But Mike, what did you think about our boy B. Allen's first snaps in the preseason?
Yeah, look, I'm gonna keep it short. I think Tigo. I think both guys did a fantastic job talking about Braelon Allen here. Listen, guys, Braelon Allen is a man amongst boys, right? He's the youngest NFL player in the league this year. He's a battering ram, but like he was saying, he's able to be shifty in the backfield. He can run, right? I think that this year's running back room is what it was supposed to be last year with Dalvin Cook. Now we're gonna be able to have Breece Hall move around all around the backfield. We're gonna be able to have him line up wide, and we're gonna have Braelon Allen in the backfield as well, or line up wide as well. So I feel like us having them too, as young as they are, as good as they are. And to answer your question, by the way, I think the last time we had a runner like him was Chris Ivory back in 2015. So we haven't had a player like him in so long. And by the way, the last time our offense was this good was back in 2015. So we need those running backs to be able to take a load off the passing game and being able to have Aaron Rodgers conduct his play action passing, which is what he excels in the most. So I feel like Braelon Allen is the perfect complement to this offense, and he's going to be able to open up so much of the playbook and be able to do what we want to do and play New York Jet football this year.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you guys more if I tried. You guys again hit some perfect points. This is why it's much more fun to have friends to talk about, Jets football with, because I look at Braelon Allen and I see somebody that whenever he gets on the field now, last year, whenever Breece Hall was off the field, everybody held their breath. Man, what's about to happen? Are we going to go ahead and get negative yards? Is freaking quarterback going to get sacked because nobody can pick up a blitz? For me, watching Braelon Allen play this freaking Saturday, and you've heard it throughout training camp, but being able to see it myself, there were a couple of plays where I saw this man not only pick up a blitz, but there was another one where he was pretty much downfield, laid out a defender in terms of a block. The pursuit aspect of getting into the block. I don't think, and I love Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is him. I think he is literally behind CMC, RB1 in the NFL. But I think Braelon Allen showed us this past weekend that he's going to be a problem. You can't keep him off the field. You're not going to need to force feed Breece when you've got a capable individual behind him that can go ahead and do damage as well. You're talking about business decisions. I mean, this is really going to be Freddy Krueger reincarnated. Like, this is going to be the reality for defensive players on the field. Their worst nightmares coming to fruition. You've got Breece Hall who can run through you, around you, make you look stupid out in the field. Then you got Braelon Allen, who you don't want running through you, but you can't be the one out there that's freaking running away from him. But you're going to have to make that decision, and you're going to see a lot of individuals miss tackles because they're terrified of hitting that man. Keep in mind, Braelon Allen is 6 foot. I think it's 6'3", 245 pounds. He's 20 years old. I saw his Madden rating
He is
came
6'1", 235.
out. Is it 6'1"? I apologize.
Yes.
So his Madden rating came out earlier today, and they were talking about it in front of at Jets minicamp, and they had his strength at like 79, and everything else that he saw didn't bother him, right? But the strength aspect upset the man. Like 79, like I think that's going to be updated here relatively quickly. I'm gonna go by mid-October. Madden's gonna get their head out of their asses, and they're gonna go ahead and realize, oh, we were incorrect in regards to the strength, and they'll fix it. Braelon Allen is going to punish people, and I see this, man. Braelon Allen will be Rookie of the Year for 2024. Listen,
Wow.
JJ McCarthy to me was my favorite to win Rookie of the Year, but with the meniscus injury now, it would not shock me in the least bit. Braelon Allen being Rookie of the Year. If that happens, that means the New York Jets offense was a top 5, top 3 unit.
I'm worried that means something happened to Brees.
No.
I don't think you need to sacrifice Brees's touches. Just however many touches Dalvin Cook got last year, just put Braelon and add 800 yards. Because that's what he's going to do this year. It's
for the dude to be that big.
Or 800 rushing yards?
No, total all-purpose yards.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think another thing that shocked me about Braelon Allen is the fact that he can catch the football out of the backfield. The kid can actually run routes. Like, it's actually impressive because you've never seen it on his tape when it was in Wisconsin. They never asked him to do it. So you were thinking, oh, this is a big back. He's going to be a bruiser. But This is a dude that runs pretty precise, like clean routes. He runs some clean routes. He's got some soft hands. He's capable in blocking. I really believe the Jets offense is going to be very, very run heavy this season. I do. I can see us having, Breece Hall pushing that 1,800 to 2,000 yards all purpose. And it wouldn't shock me if all purpose yards, you got a guy like Braelon Allen freaking hitting 1,000. And this is why I'm saying that. I don't expect the Jets to be playing from behind very often. I just don't. I feel like there's going to be some leads. And rather than risk your quarterback, and when you don't need to risk your quarterback, you put your elite defense out there and feed these two beasts that you have in the running back. 3. Because let's be honest, Isaiah Davis did some work too this weekend. But nevertheless, you've got 2 freaking RB1 and RB1 Bravo right behind you. Feed those dudes. Protect Aaron Rodgers from himself if need be. Let them eat. I loved what I saw with the kid. And again, I felt good about him when we drafted him. I'm feeling great about him now, seeing him operate so far in the first game of the preseason. Braelon Allen is a dog. We got a good one. Another super
real
chat
quick
just
before
came
we
through.
move on to the Braelon Allen.
Go ahead.
Because I just want to mention it because I think it's a funny story, right? Because I think they happened in relatively quick plays, which was so I didn't care about. I was watching the rookies. So I was watching Olu, and when he does the fake punch thing, I start screaming. I was like, oh, Tyron, oh my God, Tyron, ah! Right? And my wife, who had just worked 12 hours as a night nurse, comes out and is like, who's dying? And I was like, my bad. Go back to sleep. That's on me. My bad. And then there's one moment where coverage splits, and there's a free runner, and Braelon just meets him in the hole. And guy just stops dead cold in his tracks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, a running back that can block. We're saved. And my wife again came back out and she's like, you need to shut up. And I was like, I'm going to the office. That's
one of those things. We had so many running backs who couldn't block. It's like they're on the field. Yeah. You pretty much know they're getting the ball.
Yep, to run. Exactly. I think now you've got Breece, you've got Brand, and even Isaiah Davis you're hearing is a willing blocker as well. Like, you're not going to really be able to tip the scales of what's going to happen when any of our running backs are on the field. They can all catch, they can all run, they can all block. That's a trifecta that you want to see in your running back room.
And it goes back to what Joe Douglas targeted in the draft. Physical, tough, resilient players. Fashanu, Corley is the yak king for a reason. You're not going to tackle him pretty much on your first attempt. Allen, Davis, same type of players. We had too many, I'm sorry to use this word, but we had too many guys who could be a little bit on the soft side.
That's fact.
We needed some resilient players who are hard to bring down, who will get those extra yards in those big spots. And I think that was one of the big focuses of the draft this year.
Too much finesse, not enough physical guys. We got a bunch of physical guys this time around.
There you go.
The Ace Avenue, appreciate the super chat, man. The Hangar Hangout, such a badass name for a segment. I appreciate it, man. I going back and forth, believe it or not, I got to give the wife the credit for this one. She's like, hey, you were in the aviation in the Marine Corps. The New York Jets are the Jets. Why don't you just do something called like the Hangar podcast or something? I mean, Hangout was my idea, so I'll take credit for that. But the whole Hangar concept definitely came from the wife, so I will give her flowers. That's on her. Appreciate the freaking super chat, brother. But yeah, Braelon Allen, I think we can all agree on definitely a plus, definitively a promising aspect. But the thing is, we didn't get to see an individual that I think we were all kind of excited to kind of get I guess eyes on. I'm perfectly okay with this, but I gotta ask the question. So we got to see Tyrod Taylor. He was out there. He's QB2. Everybody's excited about that. We do believe that puts us in a much better situation than we were last year. But the quarterback of this team is a guy named Aaron Rodgers. You might have heard of him, 4-time MVP, freaking legend of the game, right? Coming off of an Achilles injury, but everything is indicating that he's 100% healthy and he's ready to go ahead and get it. Are y'all worried about Aaron Rodgers not getting any preseason snaps this year? Go ahead, freaking Mike. Let you kick that one off.
Gunny, I'm going to put it to you like this, man. I think I did mention this to you before. After seeing both Peasley and Martinez play this past weekend, I would not be upset if the Jets just shut down Rodgers and Taylor the rest of the 2 games here. Are they going to do that? Probably not. We might see Rodgers for a couple drives against the Giants. We're probably going to see Tyrod Taylor for at least the quarter this Saturday, and probably could be even an entire half. We'll see. But I think that Rodgers not playing at all, I would not be upset one bit. Like he said, I think it was today. And I'm paraphrasing here. He doesn't really need to play in the preseason, right? He's already crushing it right now in camp. It's like day in and day out. His rapport with Garrett Wilson and Malachi Corley, and even here's a name, Alan Lazard. These guys are crushing it with Rodgers right now, and they're crushing it with Tyrod Taylor too. When they're getting some playing, when Tyrod Taylor is getting some playing time, and these receivers are playing with the twos occasionally. So I would not be upset at all if Rodgers was very limited, if he only had 1 or 2 drives at the very most this entire preseason, because we basically need to protect our greatest asset to get us to the Super Bowl this year.
Couldn't agree with you more, Adam. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I did not have a very strong opinion one way or another if Rodgers should play or not, because we know who he is. It's not as if he forgot how to play quarterback overnight or anything like that. If anything, maybe to give him like a little bit maybe if he has any butterflies, great. But I'm sure this is a decision the Jets left up to him. Aaron, do you want to play or not? Whatever you want, Aaron. We'll make it happen for you. And I can't exactly blame them, because Rodgers is going to know himself better than anybody else will. He knows when he's feeling right, when he's not feeling right. But I think the most important thing is his mobility seems to be at a reasonable place for somebody who's 40 years old, about to turn 41 in a couple months. So for me, I think I kind of agree with Stat. If you were to give him a drive or 2 in the final game against the Giants, I have no issue with that. But his health is always going to be a thing in our mind as long as he is wearing number 8 and playing for the New York Jets. There's just no way around that. Why let MetLife Stadium claim another victim right away? So, yeah, if he doesn't play, I'm fine with it. I mean, again, there's other things that put it this way. There's many, 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 many other players who I have bigger questions about than I do Aaron Rodgers.
Fair enough. Tigo, what's your take on it?
It's finally I can take kind of an opposing view to the consensus here. I want him to play. Like, if he got reps in all of the joint practices and he didn't get anything in the preseason, I'd be more okay with it. But he didn't take any of the reps against the Commies. And that was an opportunity to get a look at a different defensive unit. That was an opportunity to get a look at a different defense set of guys. Tyrod got all the run with the ones because of the rain. And Like, my biggest thing is like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that he needs it because I'm worried about him. These are two separate issues. I am not worried about Aaron one way or another. I know he's going to be fine with reps, without reps. But my thing is I would rather knock the rust off against an opponent where the game doesn't matter than week 1 in San Francisco. And that to me is where it's just like, give him a drive or two just to knock off the rust, dude. Even if it's 2 like drives that total amount to 10 plays and he hands the ball off 7 of those 10 plays, there's something different about game speed. You know what I mean? And I just want him to get like, dude, just roll the shoulders a little bit, get the full game pad, the whole everything. It's just, that's my whole thing. It's not about, I want him to get reps against another defense that isn't ours when they're fully going. And that's my biggest thing. Knock the rust off before San Francisco, because we start the season with our biggest trial, which is San Francisco. And let's not pretend like they aren't going through their business. They are. They got their own stuff that they got to deal with. So it's not just us, but like, I don't know, get loose, put some WD-40 in those joints and get ready for the San Francisco 49ers.
I just wonder how much rust there is for him to really knock off.
I'm with T.
Yeah, I agree. 6 touchdowns in the red zone during drills.
But again, I'm with T on this one, man. You got to think, man. He goes against his defense regularly. He kind of knows a lot of their tendencies. He's kind of got it's Aaron Rodgers. I think a couple of times playing against his defense, he's going to understand the tendencies. He's going to know exactly how to keep it out of Sauce Gardner's reach. He's going to know that he's playing chess with C.J. Mosley. I think that gives him an advantage because of his high IQ, having seen so many things in 20 plus years of doing this thing. So I'm with Tico on this one, man. I really want to see him get a couple of snaps against the Giants. I don't want him playing next week or this weekend, but against the Giants, right before we freaking kick it off against the 49ers, give him a series. Just give him a series. I don't even need to see more than one. Just give him one. Get him out there. Honestly, I would like to see him get hit. I personally think that for him, to see him get hit, it might do wonders for you're going against arguably the number 1 roster in the NFL in the 49ers. They've got a disgusting defensive line. Yes, he knows against the Jets defense, no one is going to touch him because he's got on that freaking red freaking jersey. I know it sounds insane for me to say that out loud. Like, you want Rodgers to get hit? He's going to get hit freaking against the 49ers when he's in their house. It's going to happen. I would rather the first time it happens, you know what I'm saying? Again, maybe he gets freaking some cobwebs knocked out, whatever. Because that's going to matter to me against, again, our toughest competition, I believe, on our schedule for this freaking season. And if we can get out with a win, and again, I'm not saying we're going to win that game. And I know I feel better about it now as they're going through their own freaking trials and controversies right now. The whole potential loss of Brandon Ayuk, and they got Trent Williams potentially holding out. CMC is banged up right now. So I feel much better about that game. But notice everybody I just mentioned were offensive guys. That means their defense is coming in heavy and they're going to be healthy. So for me, I would like to see Aaron Rodgers go up against a Giants freaking defense. Yeah, I think they got who they got? Is it Lawrence Taylor? No, not Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. They got Lawrence,
Dexter
right?
Lawrence?
Dexter Lawrence, my bad. Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, I was about to say, if LT is still playing, that's pretty good.
He's back?
Nah, he's back. Nah, Dexter Lawrence.
I was thinking Burns, Thibodeau, those guys. But okay, you were thinking of
Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau. So, like, I would like to see him take a series with those guys just so he can see something different from the Jets, right? But yeah, then after that, sit him. I don't want him playing a full quarter. One series, just one freaking series. Get out there, dice him up, get to the end zone, just to make sure our boy feels good.
The thing, though, Gunny, is that last year, I don't think the Giants' defensive ones were out there when Rodgers was playing. So what if they do that again? And I was holding my breath last year during the Giants preseason game, and I was like, oh my gosh, like please, like don't hit Rodgers, don't kill Rodgers here with some schmuck who's not even going to make the Giants team, just trying to make the roster, So if Rodgers was to play, I would rather me personally, I would rather we see him on Saturday against the Panthers when we probably see the Panthers starting defense rather than playing against the Giants, which we know historically, in the Snoopy Bowl, there are high stakes there when it comes to New York and New York playing against each other. Even freaking Mark Sanchez one year got hurt his shoulder because Rex Ryan kept him in there for too long, and we all know how that went down. Not saying that Rodgers is going to get hurt, of course, but if he were to play a little bit and get those cobwebs off or get that rust off a little bit, then I'm vouching for him to play against the Panthers and not the Giants, if it was up to me.
And that's fair. In all actuality, I'm not going to argue semantics, right, in regards to which team he plays. And you're right. I guess going up against the Panthers will be a different look as well. He did kind of have some experience against the Giants last season. And you're right. They're not going to put their ones out there right before the game. So, yeah, if it's this week, so be it. But I really want to just get him out there against another freaking unit just to go ahead and at least know that, hey, man, you're good. And you've heard him talk about it. You've heard him talk about how, like, he feels like every time he makes a big stride against this current defense, like today's game, he felt like he went from 95% to 97% now. So to me, okay, well, if you're at 97%, you've been practicing against the same defense for all of training camp and all of OTAs, and you need to get that extra 3% to feel 100%. I think he's literally trying to let us know, like, he just needs to go out there and play a different freaking team so he knows he's still got it. Because he said today he's at 97%, and that was after a great practice. So, okay, we need to get you to 100%. So does that mean you've got to go ahead and play against somebody else since you've been playing against the same regime and you're still feeling like you need a little bit more before you can get to that 100% mark? So, again, I know the thought of having him out there right now and getting injured in a meaningless freaking preseason game is terrifying, but it's football, right? He's going to have to get hit. We need to see it. Do we want – I mean, the heartbreak of it going down last season – 4 snaps in. I don't know if it gets any worse than that, but
no.
Call me crazy, man. I just think at this point, I want him to know he's good. Like, I want him to know it. I don't want him to be at 90%. No, I want him to know 100%. Oh, I just got hit and I'm back up. I'm good. And I think we all know what that's like. Those guys talk about it all the time. After an injury, they're thinking about that first hit. They need to get that out of the way. And I would rather it happen against, a scrub team like the Panthers or the Giants before it happens against the 49ers elite defensive front. I would rather Nick Bosa not be the one that gets – is it Joey or Nick? No, Nick is in –
That's Nick.
Nick is in –
yeah,
Joey's
on
the Chargers. So I would rather it not be that's a guy that hits him to go ahead and, hey, man, welcome back to the NFL type of moment. So call us crazy. And I know a lot of people probably don't think we're crazy for saying that, but that's just my mindset. Just get him out there. He gets a hit. He stands back up. Boom. He knows, yeah, I'm good. I'm Aaron Rodgers again. Let's play some football.
It's really funny, Gunny, because when you said it originally, I was like, this dude's crazy. And then you take a beat and you're just like, actually, I'd rather him take that hit in preseason and be like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm actually good, not be scared about it. That's how you get hurt again.
Exactly.
You get hurt being ginger on the thing that you're scared about. If he takes a hit and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine,"
just get
Tyron Smith and Fant are going to make sure he's not getting hit.
Problem, right? Yeah. If we throw the ones out there, who's going to get to him anyway?
I mean Moses, not Fant. Well, I don't know why I said Fant. Or Moses.
Yeah, it's been a long day, boys. We're all getting at it.
I still can't believe we have to see Leonard Floyd week 1 again. It's just like
really... And that's another reason why I want him to go ahead and get some reps in beforehand. Because to me, when you're thinking about like this mentally, like, man, this is the dude that ended my season last year, 4 snaps in. And I know it seems ridiculous, but like there's it's a mental game to this. And he's going to be on that freaking front line when you snap the ball. Listen, man, just know that your freaking Achilles is good. Your body is good. It was a fluke injury. It also happened at MetLife. You get to play in freaking California this time around on grass. Thank God for that.
At home. He's from the Bay Area.
He's from the area. So you're right. It's a primetime game. He's 6-3 against the 49ers over the last freaking 9 games. So like it's in his court. But again, I would like him to feel 100% going into that game, vice worrying about protecting himself going into that game. But
I've got on a lot of running plays to start that game off if I'm the Jets.
100%.
A lot.
Yes,
100%.
please. Yep.
Just do give me one play action. Let's just do one of the air guitars. That's all I want. Just one. Just one. Give me one, and then I'm good.
Well, we mentioned freaking Aaron Rodgers, right? Wanting him to get out there. Now, when he goes out there, if he goes out there, would you guys want to see his starting left tackle out there with him? Tyron Smith, He's been on a snap count throughout training camp. I know Mike had a little freak out earlier today, thinking like something was wrong.
Yeah,
I had to calm him down a little bit. But Tyron Smith is another one, right? That we know right now he's the most injury-prone player on the roster. He hasn't played a full season since 2015, but he's an important component to what this team can achieve if we can get him through a full season. Now, we all feel much better about Olu Fashanu being able to go ahead and step in there and not decimate the offensive line if he has to play freaking left tackle. But the fact of the matter is, when Tyron Smith's in there, he's a freaking all-pro. So, do y'all want to see freaking Tyron Smith take any preseason snaps? Go ahead, Tigo. You hit this one first.
No. Yes. No. Maybe. Here's my thing: is I want Olu to get as many snaps as possible in the preseason because I don't want Olu to play a single snap in the regular season. So it's this weird like thing. It's this weird thing where it's just like, I want him to play for the same reasons I want Aaron to play. Go knock off the rust because he didn't get to do the joint practice against, the commies, and just take your pass blocking rep and a run blocking rep. Like, just do that for me in a game situation, but also Olu's not going to play this year. I'm just going to speak that into existence.
Okay.
So I want him to just give him the whole Giants game. The whole Giants game. Just all 4 quarters. Because this is the last time he's going to get game football all year. And so maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
This was a tough one. This is why I want to specifically ask you guys about it because
I'm very
much in that conflicted range as well. So I'm gonna hit you, Adam. What do you think about freaking Tyron Smith taking some snaps in the preseason?
He's going to be on a bit of a pitch count all year where he's going to be missing practice on certain days anyway. Dallas had a pretty specific practice schedule from last year, and it worked pretty well. I mean, he didn't play all 17 games, but he played the most games that he played in quite some time. So I would do that sort of a deal. I mean, if you don't have to play him, don't play him. I agree with Tigo. I want Fashanu to get those snaps right now. I'm not worried about Tyron Smith needing to knock off any rust because he played a lot last year and he played very well. So, yeah, to me, let's see Fashanu. Hey, let's even, you know what? Let's see. They're starting to cross train, you might say, Fashanu at right tackle right now. Maybe at some point we see Fashanu. One of these games, either one, Carolina, Giants, doesn't matter to me. One of the games he plays, I want to see him play the whole game. Half the game at left tackle, half the game at right tackle. Let's see what he can do for a whole game. But Tyron Smith, not worried about it. Sit him until Frisco.
All right. Where do you stand on this, Mike?
Yeah, look, I'm on the other side of the coin here. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP of our team. With him, we can win the Super Bowl. Without him, we are not even making it to the Super Bowl. Now, I want if we're trotting out Aaron Rodgers in a preseason game, I want the starting 5 linemen who we're going to have out week 1 play with him to also get those reps as well. Not to mention, I love Olu Fashanu. I was, banging the table for him for months, as you know, Gunny, throughout the entirety of the draft process there. And as much as I love Fashanu and as much as I know that he can get the job done immediately, Tyron Smith gives Aaron Rodgers the best chance of protection here. And if I'm trotting out Rodgers, I am putting the starting 5 offensive linemen there with him.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's very much that same mindset, right? If we're gonna risk Aaron Rodgers being out there, then I need to see Tyron Smith out there too. I think I've gotten to that point where I can't say, Aaron Rodgers needs to go out there and freaking realize he can take a hit, and our left tackle who's going to be in the trenches against some of the top guys, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and protect him and not have to worry about him kicking off week 1 against the 49ers, one of the best defensive lines in football. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think that having if Aaron Rodgers is out there, Tyron Smith is out there as well. I think that only makes sense. The starting offensive line, take those snaps with Aaron Rodgers. If you're going to have Rodgers out there, it's the ones. I want all the ones out there at the same freaking time. You do that series together. You want that chemistry together. You want the snap count to be on point, and that includes Tyron Smith not freaking, being off on the cadence or anything like that, getting him out there. So, but that's scary to me. I will admit that scares me more than Aaron Rodgers taking a hit. And the reason I say that is because Aaron Rodgers is not known to be an injury-prone guy. It's just not that's not his story. Tyron Smith, unfortunately, that has been his story. But the fact that they've been on a snap count with him in terms of freaking making sure that he's they're just caring for him more. You can tell they're doing everything they can to make sure they can go ahead and extend his season. I see Nick is in the background. 1 second, Nick, I'm going to bring you on here in a second. But for me, I want all of the ones. If Rodgers, like you said it beautifully, freaking Mike. If Rodgers is out there, hey Tyron, you're important, but you're not as important as freaking Aaron Rodgers. So if he's out there, I think Tyron should be out there as well.
And keep in mind, last year. Oh, sorry, Gunny. I didn't.
No, go ahead.
Keep in mind, last year, I'm pretty sure Week 1 Monday Night Football was the very first time that all 5 starters that we had last year played together. So again, yeah, that just reiterates my point of if we're risking Rodgers, then we need to have the starting 5 out there.
Big facts. Nick, proud New York Jets fan, my man. First and foremost, congratulations on the head coaching job. I saw that earlier, and I was going to go ahead and just type it away. I said, hell no, I'm going to go ahead and do this live if you get on here. Congratulations, brother. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Tell the people about the new head coaching opportunity you just got, bro.
So the Pop Warner program that my son and I came up through in 2019, we made the Pop Warner Super Bowl in Disney. They needed a head coach. They started August 1st. They had a guy who couldn't commit, and the other coaches are not head coaching material. So the guy who runs the organization called me today, good friend for a long time. Me and him coached his son 20 years ago, his oldest son. And he's like, dude, I need a coach bad. And I'm like, let me talk to Nicky. Nicky signs off on it because, his weekend with me, I want to make sure he's cool with it. Nicky's like, can I be on the field and help? I'm like, of course. He's like, let's do it. I'm like, all right, cool. So
That's
straight
awesome,
for work, on the field for 2 hours. They're way behind. We got a jamboree next Sunday. Not this Sunday. So 8 practices to get them ready, but whatever. Help the kids out, get them ready for high school. Told them today, if you don't want to run, I gave them Proud NyJets Fan. I'm like, oh, you guys are on YouTube. You come to practice tomorrow. You show me that you subscribe to Proud NyJets Fan. You do not have to run sprints before practice.
Hey, listen.
As Bobby says,
right?
I'm a cattle fish.
It's
I'm
all about
capitalist. What's up, everyone in the chat? How's
Listen, man,
everyone doing?
congratulations again, bro. That's awesome. So, being the coach now, right, of the football team, we want to get your take on it. We were just discussing Tyron Smith getting snaps in the preseason. How do you feel about Tyron Smith getting a couple of snaps?
You better not put Aaron Rodgers out there with backups. I don't even care if it's Olu. You don't put him out there with a backup, not a single backup. It's a team or no team. It's not even debatable, in my opinion.
That's fair.
If you're not putting him out there with all of the ones and the guys up front are all of the ones, you don't put him out there. You don't put him Wes Schweitzer out there against Dexter Lawrence and against the Giants. What the fuck are you doing? You're not putting him out. No. It's all starters or it's none with Rodgers in the line. It shouldn't even be debated.
Okay.
Rodgers is a good enough quarterback over 20 years that one drive in a dress rehearsal is not changing the outcome of what this man does. Just like missing 2 OTA practices is not changing what this guy is going to do. Let's not act like Aaron Rodgers is season makes or breaks one drive in a preseason.
Okay, so for you, would you want to see Aaron Rodgers out there for a couple of snaps before the season kicks off?
No, I mean, with the joint practices now, you get that. You get it. Like, fans are selfish. I want to see him. No, I'm good. Let the coaches deal with the coaches do it. He goes against them. He's going against them on Thursday.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, Nick, real quick. Now, they don't actually hit in these joint practices. They're not about to. It's the same thing. The red penny protects the quarterback. So the quarterbacks know I'm good no matter what. These guys don't have to freaking touch me. You don't have any concerns about that. Again, I know it's Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not arguing or debating the fact that this is the most experienced quarterback in all of football. Is preseason mandatory for him? No. But coming off of that Achilles injury, right? Freaking 4 snaps in, you watch your entire season freaking end. Mentally, you're going to be facing off against that same defensive lineman on the regular season, start of the regular season that ended your season last year. You don't think a mental gap might be there in regards to whether or not he can trust that freaking Achilles? If I get hit now, could it tears again? Am I going to tear something? I just feel like mentally speaking, for a guy having gone through that maybe it makes sense to go ahead and throw him out there, and maybe he gets hit and he gets back up and he realizes I'm good.
What do we gain? We gain
His
nothing.
Confidence.
We don't. You don't. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers might be the only guy on the planet that's more confident than me. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I'm not worried about his confidence level. Like, when
it's just he's never dealt with an injury this big,
like this before, ever.
You know what I mean?
Even he himself,
he might not even know.
What
it's
good
like
comes
his,
out of it?
Here we go.
Here's the thing:
let's go.
No, but real quick, I just don't know if, like, it's one of those things that you can fully be like, I'm fine. I'm totally okay. A perfect example is I played paintball relatively at a high level, and let me finish real quick, dude. And I dislocated my shoulder, and when I came back, I was too scared to go left, and I didn't realize I was scared to go left until I did it, and I went left, and I dove, and my arm stayed in place, and I was like, okay, I'm cool. I didn't realize that I was scared to go left until I did it, and it's one of those things of it's not about like. You get hurt.
What are you, fucking Derek Zoolander?
No, you get hurt when you act on whatever you previously heard gingerly. So it's just, dude, put him out there, let him get sacked once so that he realizes, oh, I'm fine. I can do this. I don't have to worry about my Achilles. He might not know that he's worried about it.
Dude,
he's never in 20 years he's never had that big of an injury.
Season. That's not changing.
But to be fair,
it's one tackle. That's all I want. Just get hit once.
And what he himself said, Aaron Rodgers himself said that
it would be the dumbest jet move of all time, which is a lot, to put him out there, and he does get hurt.
Yeah, true. So, and by the way, Rodgers and Sauce take hits together every single practice.
He's been on fire in practice
with their handshake.
Aaron Rodgers. It's not a guy that we need to worry about his confidence. It's not a guy we need to worry about his execution.
But Nick, I'm going to disagree with you. He himself stated that he's not 100%.
Gunny,
he himself has stated
out if he goes out there and he gets hurt. You would be one of the content creators losing your goddamn mind.
I'm also going to flip out
There's
if
nothing
he goes
to gain
out there
by it, guys.
freaking week 1 and gets hurt against
nothing.
the best defensive line in football because
he's experienced enough to deal with it, guys. He never played preseason all the other years. He never played preseason in Green Bay.
He's never had a major catastrophic injury before.
That's your mental capacity. That's not his.
But he's told you. His very words were, I'm at 97%.
Exactly. So why do it now? Why do it now if he's not 100? Wait till he's 100 come September 10th. Give him
what if that's
27
what's
days.
missing?
What does he need to do to be 100%? He's already been physically cleared across the board. So your thought process is that it's this time frame for him. You give him the full year, right? Get out there against San Francisco's defensive line, and then he's going to be at 100% when he's facing probably the best defensive line he's going to face all season.
No, that doesn't automatically make you 100%. Time makes you 100%. Situation.
You know what else makes you 100%? You know what else builds confidence?
Recovery.
Success on the field.
No, recovery time makes you 100%. If he's at 97%, it just takes more time. That's it.
We're debating to sit Rodgers. I want to sit Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor. I don't want, I got PTSD from last year, for seeing Zach Wilson out there every week. I want my first and second quarterback healthy for week 1.
Well, I think this is going to be what we got to look at, and whatever happens, happens. But I personally, I would want to see him get out there and knock some rust off before he faces off against the toughest competition we're going to face off all season.
Would you rip the Jets if he got hurt? Of course you would. We all would.
Of course
Dude, we would rip the Jets if he walked out week 1 and he gets hurt. Get smacked by Nick Bosa.
But how would playing one drive change Nick Bosa hitting him and hurting him? One drive doesn't prevent a future hit and a future injury.
No, but you're not.
There's no reason.
We're not listening.
We're not arguing. We're not arguing that aspect. We're talking about his mindset. Not being at 97% right now. He's obviously not 100%, even though medically he's been cleared 100%. 97%, that means he's 3% mental from being at 100%.
You
so
don't know that.
while
That's your
he's
opinion.
going up against,
That's your opinion.
the top freaking, what do you mean? He said it. It's his
He
words.
said the 3% is mental.
That's what he said. He was literally in the press conference. He said today.
I didn't hear that clip. I heard the 97% back.
He said 95% was for like a couple weeks back, but then today he said he had his best practice. Now he puts him at 97% in regards to believing what he's able to do because he had a really good practice today. Then they were like 97%. All right, well, what's the takeaway? He's just like, I just got to go ahead and get there. But medically, he's already said, I'm 100% physically. The body feels great, all that good stuff. So the only thing is mental. So for me, that's where my concern is at, is him finally achieving that, being week 1 against the freaking 49ers.
Your take upset the dog.
And it's not even a new playbook that he's learning. So we know it's not a mental thing. And it's like, oh, I'm trying to learn a new playbook. It's like, no, you've been running this playbook for the last, dude, even if it's not against the Giants. Okay, cool. Can we just in practice put like a tackle pad on the floor and let him get smacked by Quinnen just once, just so that he knows his ankle is fine? Like, it's just, that's the whole thing. Just know
this is
that
be
you're
one
fine.
of those situations.
Yes, let's have Quinnen take a free shot at our quarterback.
I never said free shot. That's not what I said.
What are we doing?
All right, I think this is what
we need to get to Reddick.
This is why it's called post-traumatic Jets disorder. We are talking about the craziest shit. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's a 20-year veteran. He went many years in Green Bay without playing in the preseason. Aaron Rodgers is not going to be different in the first drive of the season against San Francisco by playing one meaningless drive in a preseason game. He played one drive last year against the Giants, looked well. Guess what? Got hurt in the first fucking drive against Buffalo. If you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. Playing in August doesn't prevent an injury in September, October, or November. It's crazy.
No one is
Couldn't
saying
agree
that.
with you more.
I want to be
No one is
Goose and
saying
Top
that.
Gun.
We're not arguing that at all. None of us, me and Gunny, have
Nobody's
never mentioned that
arguing
at all. If he's going to get hurt in preseason, he's going to get hurt week 1. If he's going to get hurt week 1, he's going to get hurt in preseason.
Good.
That's not what we're saying at all.
I don't want to risk it. I don't want him getting. I don't want the Jets to jet. No, I don't want him out there in August. That's my answer. No.
So the
No
first
scenario, I would say
preseason
yes.
game is officially in the books. Who impressed y'all the most in the preseason debut? I'm gonna go with you, Nick. What did you think about the preseason debut? What is the Jet that stood out for you and what you saw this weekend?
I'll leave guy on offense for the other guys. You know how much I love defense. I coach defense, implemented the defense already tonight in practice. Give me Leonard Taylor. I love Leonard Taylor.
Love that.
You can't put a price on big linemen who can accelerate, get through the gap. I want to see him in a bigger role. I want to see him maybe get rotated in with the ones, because we're not going to – if the other team has their ones in on the offensive line, I want to see him in there against it more. I want to see him go, and I want to see him – all right, we've seen many threes, Chris Strevler. We've seen many 3s, 4s, and 5s light it up in August and not be able to play when you play against the ones of the other team, right? I want to see this guy get a chance. I said it the other night on my show with VR Sunday night. I'm tired of Michael Clemens. The only time I hear his name, it's a negative. I can't cut Holmes, Taylor, McKinley. I can't cut any of these guys to justify keeping Clemens. Every time it's Clemens' name, it's fighting Deion Dawkins, cursing at fans in Cleveland, jumping off sides on a penalty or on a holding, a roughing. It's always a negative play. I don't get what he has on this organization and coaching staff to be where he is. I'd rather have guys who can make a positive play every so often. So I'm big on Taylor, and I'm off the Clemens train. Like I can't justify cutting any of these young guys. We know what Clemens is 3 years in. We know his ceiling. It's a stout defensive end who tries to bull rush, can't get around anyone. I'd rather guys who can be explosive, make up plays, get tackled for losses. Give me Taylor making a team and go from there.
Absolutely love that one. Not gonna lie to you, absolutely love that one. You definitely stole my thunder on that one. I'll let that be though.
Same.
Great one. Taylor to me was a stud. Love what we saw. To me, this is one reason why the next segment, when we talk about freaking that, which I not mention right now, is I feel confident in the replacements we have already in the building. But I digress. Tigo, who impressed you the most in this preseason debut?
Nick took my guy. I had a whole rant planned for Leonard Taylor and how I had a day 2 grade on the kid and how at this time last year he had a first round grade, and by November, December he still had a first round grade. And for us to find him undrafted, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was just like, wouldn't Solomon Thomas be the most elite defensive line assistant coach on the planet? Just retire the guy, give him an assistant D-line coach job.
Are you taking Buffalo Jets fans' tweets?
Is it Buffalo's?
Your own comment?
No, I said I don't remember who said it. I said that
day.
from the grip. If you weren't on your phone, you would have heard it.
Receipt cashed in.
But I'm gonna stick on the defense. We talked about him earlier, and I'm just so real quick. Jared Bernard-Converse, just the way that he played, how exceptionally good he was, and the fact that he has not had a very easy start to an NFL career, getting drafted, being hurt all year, being drafted as a corner, moved to safety in year 2, moved back to corner. Like, when all that stuff happened, I thought, no way JBC makes this team. Like, how do you miss an entire year, do a whole bunch of meetings in the safety room? Now you move into the cornerback room, which is already so crowded and all of this stuff. I just thought there's no way he makes this team with the new guys that we drafted. But JBC deserves his flowers. He has done an exceptional job, and you legit have a player, like I said earlier, who's like, dude, he might have just taken Eccles' jobs. Like, dead ass. Eccles might not be employed by the New York Jets next year. 1, because he ran a dude off the road, but 2, because JBC is so freaking good. And so is Stiggers, but JBC is my guy.
All right, Adam, who's your guy?
I think we named just about every guy who's really stood out. I mean, I could Austin Siebert for nailing the game-winning field goal. No, I'm just kidding. Nick knew I would take it to special teams.
Of course.
I would even have to. I would actually go. I'm going to go in a little bit of a. I'm not even going to go with a player. I'm actually going to go with a new coach. I'm going to go with Tony Dews, the running back coach.
Wow.
Because we've had a few things. Yeah, there were some issues with this running back coach last year. There were some fights. There was some yelling going on. And I did, before we came on tonight, I did watch one Jets drive, and they spent a good amount of time covering the running backs. I don't want to give everything away, but they really focused on Tony Dews and talking about the comfort zone. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I like that we have a new, even though the Jets have one of the older rosters in the NFL, that's mainly because of like 2 or 3 particular players, but the running back room is young and it's dynamic, and they felt they needed a new voice in the room. And I really liked how we had all 5 or 6 of them there. I include 6 because Tariq Cohen was actually still in the shot. Was that ever weird?
That was.
Yeah, that was rather bizarre. But I feel like this is one of those new voices that might have been needed. And you got to see he was encouraging Brees to take that leadership role. In just his 3rd year, he's the veteran of the running back room now. How wild is that? But you know what? He's earned that much respect this quickly, where he doesn't have to ask for respect. He commands it already. And how he runs, how he conducts himself, how he trains, how he recovers, everything. And I like that Dews has basically given Brees that opportunity to lead as well. So, yeah, I'm actually going to go with the running back room as a whole. And by doing that, I got to credit the running back coach.
Okay. I guess I'm going to really be clawing here for somebody to go ahead and talk about. Mike, my guy, who impressed you the most this preseason?
I'm not going to say your guy, or at least so I'm thinking that you're thinking your guy. I'm going to go a different route here, and I'm going to say Brandon Smith, wide receiver. Pretty much mystery relevant of the wide receivers on the Jets. Okay. Now, listen, guys, we as a Jets fans, we are prone to see year in and year out the workout warriors and the summer warriors, right? We have guys coming in camp and they're making plays day in and day out. But when the lights turn on, they disappear, right? Now, there are, on the flip side, there are guys who you don't really hear their names that much, especially during practice. But boy, when those lights come on during those preseason games, they are making plays. And Brandon Smith is one of those guys. I really do feel like we might have something here in Brandon Smith. And which, by the way, those 2 receptions that he's had for 70 yards, he was not exactly wide open, right? He made those 2 plays beautifully, and I think both of them were off platform throws by Martinez, and they weren't exactly the route that Smith was supposed to be running, and he was able to catch those both passes. So I think that this can kind of be like a whole Robbie Anderson situation where we didn't really know his name until some of the preseason games, and all of a sudden we have this unpolished gem here. So if we can see him in the next couple weeks play and do some damage here, maybe we can stash him on our practice squad, hopefully. So we'll see what happens.
I think isn't he already 25 years old? I think he's a little bit older though, right?
Give me 2 seconds.
24.
The only thing I know is I didn't know his name until this Saturday.
Until this past week.
Linebacker or whatever it was, but
yeah, okay.
Why are we shitting on that, man? We'd all kill to be 25, Adam.
He is 25.
Yeah, there's no arguments there. I was
more 25 than you do, Nick.
He's 25, turns 26 in December.
I shaved a beard. I got a baby face. Chill out.
So
for me, since you guys took literally all the ideal candidates to discuss and talk about, I'm going to talk about freaking Peasley and Martinez. I think the quarterback 3 position right now is something that we as Jets fans are overlooking, but having dug into those position groups over the last couple of years, I was thoroughly impressed in seeing quality quarterback play from QB3 and QB4. And I think what also kind of set it off for me is the fact that means I know for a fact that we're not going to have to see Jordan Travis out there anytime soon, ahead of schedule. We don't need to force him out there. The kid really gets to go ahead and kind of sit back and heal up and get better. Gets to watch freaking Aaron Rodgers, gets to watch freaking Tyrod Taylor, how they operate, how they approach the game. So for me, it was exciting to see that. Again, knock on wood, I don't believe this is going to happen. I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play 20 freaking games this season. But God forbid something was to occur and then we had to get to QB3. I'm not saying these guys are going to light the scoreboard up, but I think they can go ahead and be serviceable for the New York Jets with this freaking talent around them until one of those guys gets back on their feet to go ahead and take the helm again. So QB3 and QB4 to me, man, Martinez and Peasley, I was thoroughly impressed. Their ability to go ahead and drive down the field, make really, really smart plays. And everybody who's going to talk about how they were doing it against garbage men, keep in mind, they were also playing with garbage men. And they, without question, look like the best players on the field at the time they were playing against garbage men and with garbage men. So for me, I look at that in regards to their decision-making, the accuracy, the touch on the deep throws that were had. They were very, very impressive, high IQ plays. So I really am pleased with what I saw in terms of our quarterback depth. We know who Aaron Rodgers is. We know who Tyrod Taylor is. We've got the oldest starting quarterback and the oldest freaking backup quarterback in all of football on our roster. Again, I believe they're going to go ahead and make it through the season. But if something was to go astray or go awry, or hell, maybe we've already locked the division by freaking week 17, week 16, and we would have gone ahead and send them out there to get some valuable reps, I feel like we'd still be able to go ahead and watch football and enjoy watching football. So to me, it's the quarterback room. Again, it goes to show the amount of depth this team now has from top to bottom. When you're talking about the running back depth, the offensive line depth, the freaking quarterback room, like we're in a position that I just didn't think we'd be in just 6 months ago when we were talking about freaking end of the season. This team needs this, that, and the other, but we're here now. So for me, I was thoroughly impressed with those guys, and I apologized on Twitter, and I'll apologize here because I was not familiar with their game, but I am now, and I am impressed.
Gunny, are you trying to tell us that quality quarterback play can make offensive coordinators look better? And maybe last year everybody jumped the gun and shit on Hackett week after week when guys were running wide open and our quarterbacks couldn't get them the ball.
Well, before I answer that
I
question,
know we're going to have Rodgers running the offense, but just the preseason game alone, you saw quality throws. The touchdown to Brownlee was a quality throw. The throws to Smith were quality throws. They're putting the ball on time. Drop step, drop back, plant, release. Ball was out on time and time again. So maybe, just maybe, the quarterbacks were so piss poor last year. we should reserve the criticisms for Hackett until we have an NFL quality quarterback leading the offense.
I am guilty of that.
Right?
I was one of the individuals who had the thing.
never
Hackett's
noticed.
already in the
You?
guillotine.
I never
It was me. I
noticed.
was one. No, I was definitely one of them.
I know.
But
I know.
I will say this. I'm starting to realize that as good of an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator as you might be in the NFL, it really doesn't matter if you don't have the players. It really doesn't.
How would Baltimore's defense would be without Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, and Ray Lewis?
Exactly. I think players make coaches more so than coaches make players. I do believe coaches play a valuable role, but seeing those kids operate this past Saturday with the same offensive coordinator pretty much calling the plays in a way where it seemed like, oh man, this looks like legitimate NFL football was very, very impressive. Jason Edwards, newest channel member. Appreciate the support, brother. Appreciate the love. Channel members are going to have a special giveaway specifically for them come season's end. I think you guys are going to love it. Welcome to Gunny's Fire Team, brother. I appreciate you. All right, so that covers the positives.
I remember last year when you wanted Hackett on your Fire Team. I wasn't done.
I didn't want him on the Fire Team. I mean, unless you're talking about
you wanted him facing a firing squad.
A firing squad. That's different. No, the fire.
I was gonna to piggyback off of say everything that Nick said, but then put Keith Carter in there. Maybe when we don't ask garbage men to block NFL defenses, maybe it works.
Garbage men have a good union, great hours. They're out of work by like some 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Why are we shit on garbage men so much today, guys?
We're just saying they're not NFL
No, that's a great job. But some of those guys leave the job of being a garbage man to try and murder NFL quarterbacks by letting 300-pound men who can run 4.4s hit them at full speed, you know?
Well,
some guys with the last name Brown.
Situation with Reddick.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you said that. So we've talked about the preseason. The Jets impressed us, obviously. We're all happy with what we saw. We're not even going to talk about the negatives because the negatives were hard to go ahead and find. I think in terms of the preseason, you kind of like what you saw. But in all actuality, the New York Jets couldn't have a freaking awesome offseason, an awesome beginning to the preseason without something negative happening, right? The same old Jets narrative is back and back with a vengeance. Jets win on Saturday and the Jets lose on Monday. Latest news right now is that Hassan Reddick, who the New York Jets traded for a few months ago, has now requested to be traded yet again for the second time. Second time in the offseason, he's requested to be traded. Second different team, he's doing it. I want to talk about that, but before we talk about it, I want to go ahead and make sure we have context. So a lot of individuals have been back and forth in regards to who to blame for this, and Joe D's a moron, et cetera, et cetera. But before we even get into that, we'll try to go ahead and watch this quick clip about Hassan Reddick in regards to when he joined the New York Jets, and then we'll go ahead and have this conversation.
Look at it. Is it you're on the last year of your contract. Like you said, it's a business. Is this a place you hope is a long-term home? Are you looking at this like a one-year situation, or do you believe there's a chance you guys could get an extension done?
You know, all options are open. Right now, currently just worried about being here, meeting everybody that's in the building today. Contractual stuff, I'm leaving that up to my agent and Joe to figure out. You know, but whatever happens, I'm going to be happy for. I'm going to give my all, no matter what. That's just who I am as a person. So no matter how it goes, how many years, I'm going to be here for however long I'm here for, and I'm going to give the team, the fans, everything that I have.
I think we can clearly state that was cap. Nothing he said there actually was true.
Bullshit.
That was
that little kid,
right? So for me, man, I saw that, and again, it's circulating now, and I know a lot of individuals are on the blame JD train. Oh, Reddick deserves to get paid, blah blah blah. But I think there's more to it than that. But you know what, Tigo, what do you think about the Hassan Reddick situation, and currently, who do you blame for the current situation?
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm always about a player getting his money. As long as you are upfront with the organization that is what you're going to do. If you are upfront with the organization and you say, hey, I want to get paid, I'm not going to show up until I get paid, I'm cool with it. That is the only tool at your disposal. Quinnen Williams did it last year, and it worked, and he got paid, and that's awesome, and I have no beef with what he did. The problem is that Hassan Reddick is a lying piece of shit. Stop being a dick, dude. That's it. That's plain and simple. Just stop being a dick. We called you and said, hey, we're not giving you a new contract till midseason. You said you were cool with that. Your agent said you were cool with that, and we traded for you. At what point can you blame? How can you blame JD for this situation? Dude straight up lied to him. You thought you were talking to a high character individual, and you very clearly weren't. Gunny, I think it was on this show. I went back. I think it was on this show where we were talking about this situation, and you said, what about all the reports that came out that he was chasing sacks, that he was at the locker room? And I said, look, we don't know what's happening in the locker room, and it might be just guys being upset, and it might be stories that the Eagles are. I defended the man, and now we're looking at it and just like, no, maybe he's just a dick. So stop being a dick. Just plain and simple. Be a man and own up to your word, because you're not going to get a contract. And I don't know if he knows this, but we'll keep him another year. I have no problem keeping him and destroying his career. Doesn't work out when guys sit out for a year. Didn't work for Le'Veon Bell. Nope. Hasn't worked out yet for Deshaun Watson. Like, and you're not getting any younger. You're on the wrong side of 30. Like, if you don't want $15 million, I'll take it. I'm not as good. I'll take $15 million. I'll be bad at my job, but like, it's just ridiculous. Stop being a dick. Stop lying. That's it.
Weird that Tito has the same take for Reddick that he usually says about me.
Semper Fi, get Hassan a large order of blue waffles. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Blue waffles. Diner. Yeah, that's that might be the trick. That might be the trick. You know what, Mike? I'm curious, man. What is your take on the Hassan Reddick situation?
So I'm gonna throw in.
My bad. Tigo has to leave us, man. Tigo, I appreciate you for jumping on, dog. Tell the people real quick where they can go ahead and find you, brother.
They know where they can find me. Hassan Reddick, if you're watching this, stop being a dick. That's it. That's what I'm leaving on. Stop being a dick. Peace, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, brother.
Mike, you're up, brother.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure most of us are in agreement here, so I'm not going to harp too much on the whole, Reddick holding out situation, but I am going to throw in some stats. But before I do throw in some stats, Hassan Reddick himself just said in that clip that he's having his agent take care of the contract stuff. Well, bro, you need to fire your agent because you have no leverage in this situation. As Jets fans right now, we pretty much are begging to pay players. Like we beg every single year, like, please God, like, let us have a player that we have to actually pay, which pretty soon we're going to have that situation. We just had it with Quinnen. But dude, you've never even had a snap for us yet. And you're already, being that type of player, which, by the way, there are two types of players in this league. There's the type of player like Aaron Rodgers, who is a leader amongst men, who took a pay cut to be able to give back to the team to be able to win Super Bowls. And there's a player that openly lies to everyone and fails to show up to the only team that really wants you, quite frankly. So I'll let you guys discuss further about his situation, but let me throw in some stats here. New York Jets defensive stats 2023, they were ranked 3rd. New York Jets defense 2022, they were ranked 4th. So there's a saying that says he who cares less wins. Hassan Reddick needs us a hell of a lot more than we need him, because with Hassan Reddick, there is there's no doubt in my mind that Hassan Reddick wouldn't elevate this defense. But we're talking like going from top 4, top 3 to top 2 or 1. We're not talking about going from bottom of the barrel in defense to all of a sudden top 10, right? Let's go over some more stats here, and production wise. Last year, John Franklin Myers had 3.5 sacks. He was playing at 55% of the snaps. Huff, which we lost, right? And some of us might say that Joe Douglas dropped the ball with Huff, right? 10 sacks last year, playing 42% of the snaps. Jermaine Johnson, 7.5 sacks with 66%. Will McDonald had 3 sacks, playing only 16% of the snaps. Michael Clemens had a half a sack, which, I know Proud Jet fan loves him. Clemens. So
he got
half a sack last year.
The quarterback who was on the ground. That's what happened.
Right. Half a sack, getting pushed down. He played 33% of the snaps. Now, if we were not, if Reddick were not to play for us, if this whole thing got really ugly, which it can get really ugly, and he would be ill-advised to do that. But if he doesn't show up and we're rolling into the season without him, this is how the stats are going to have to make up for his lack of his missing production. Jermaine Johnson is going to have to play 80% of the snaps or more. So this whole rotation bull crap that we've been doing, and it's actually been doing pretty good, you can kiss that goodbye. We're not doing the whole rotation BS stuff anymore if we don't have Reddick in there. And the reason why is because we're going to have Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Clemens, and Tack McKinley, which Clemens and McKinley, they were having like decent camps, but again, we really can't depend on them too much. So Jermaine Johnson is going to have to have 10 sacks for us this year at 80% of the snaps. Will McDonald, as you know, he's only probably going to be playing 50% of the snaps because he's not really good against the run right now, but we're in a passing league, so he can be out there 2 out of the 4 downs. And then hopefully he can get double digits as well. And then Clemens and McKinley, if they can both combine for 5 sacks, I know that's a tough ask, but if they can both combine for 5 sacks, there's our missing sack production right there without Hassan Reddick. Now, I know it's a lot to ask for, but it is possible, especially when we don't have the worst freaking offense in the league anymore. Now we're up there top 10 in the NFL. So our defense is going to be cooking even more than it was the past 2 years. So I'll go ahead and let you guys talk about the Reddick situation even more. I didn't want to harp on it too much, but I was just throwing out some stats for you guys.
First and foremost, I want to say, love the stats, love the data lines. I'm very much in the same boat in terms of how to replace the production that we lost last season in JFM and Huff, which I believe is already on the roster. Yes, I'm in that field of Reddick does make this defense better. I'm not naive enough to sit here and be like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. He makes his defense better. But as you stated so eloquently, we're talking about top 3 in the argument for 1. And one thing that I will say is that people keep forgetting that we've had a top 3 defense in the NFL with the worst offensive production of all freaking time. The offense is also going to be a huge impact to how well this defense can play. So, again, I'm not tripping over it. It sounds like you guys aren't either. But before I let freaking Nick go on, hey, Nick, welcome to freaking Gunny's Fire Team, brother. I appreciate you, man. Love you, man. Love the support. No one of my ride or dies, man. Me and Nick been in this since freaking like day 1. Mine. You already know, bro. You already know. I appreciate you. You join me. Easy day. Consider it done, sir. Nick, what are your thoughts about freaking the Hassan Reddick situation?
I just like to repeat, Mike, add this stat to your stats. And I'm not coming at you, but you were just doing all the stats. No. Make sure that you add for all the people who are crying about losing Huff that 7.5 of his sacks came up against backup tackles. 7.5 of his sacks were against backup tackles last year. Or broken the one in the Chargers. It was a broken block play where he just went back untouched and touched the quarterback as he went down. So let's not act like we're giving up a John Abraham with giving up Huff. Okay? Let's not. I would rather have Reddick. We're going to have Reddick. And here's why we're going to have Reddick. Jets aren't going to trade him. Joe Douglas doesn't get bullied. Joe Douglas, to quote Bonesy, drops out the third leg and says, all right, sit out, bitch. What, you going to sit out? You're going to miss this? You're going to miss this run? Aaron Rodgers is going to get on the phone with you and call you, and you're going to be like, now I'm good. All right, you know what? Sit at home. Who cares? I like what we have. If we got to use Clemens as a rundown guy and we got to bring in Reddick as a pass rusher, McDonald, forgive me. I'm okay. I'm okay with JJ getting more pass rush opportunities. I'm okay with it. Here's why. We're going to be playing with a 2-touchdown lead, a 17-point lead, a 20-point lead. And in the entire second half, we're not playing run defense as the team's running out the clock on us because they don't have a fear in the world of our offense scoring any points. And we're actually just teeing off and going. I've said this many times. Go look at last year's game against Philly. We knew they had a pass. They knew they had a pass. What do? We get an interception. We seal the game. Look at Denver. They had a pass. We knew they had a pass. Quincy blitzes, fumble, scoop, touchdown, game over. This defense can be Mariano Rivera of football. They can go, no offense, Adam, I know you're going to get pissed with that. John Franco for you, okay, pal? But I'd rather the best of all time. They can close the game. They can close the game when they put you in a situation. We are built to beat the top teams, the Chiefs, the Bills. Newsflash, Zach Wilson's 2-1 in his last 3 games against Josh Allen. Why? Because of this defense. Okay? So you give this defense a lead. You let this defense do what this defense is built to do. This defense is not built to play the run game when you're down 20-6. They're not built for that. They're built to be up 20-6, saying, "Oh, you got to pass? Time to go to work, boys."
Get after the quarterback.
The loudest stadium in the NFL when we're good? Okay, time to go to work, boys. That's what this team is built to do. So whether Reddick helps the team, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we don't need Reddick. Reddick helps, but we don't need Reddick to still be. I'll take a top 8 defense without Reddick because our offense is good enough where we only need the top 8 defense. We don't need the best defense in football to complement this offense for 20 games. We need top 10 defense with a top 10 offense. Guess what? You're going to go really deep. And if things go your way, you're going to hoist the goddamn trophy. So, Reddick, you want to be a part of it? We accept you with open arms. We'll give you the boo the first time you come out, but the first time you get the sack, you're part of the family, bro. Cut the bullshit. And I went on Jake yesterday, and I said, this could be Reddick and his camp kickstarting conversations. Because now when you make this public, it's like, okay, that could be them getting the ball rolling. That could be them saying, all right, we've tried. We're not showing up. You want us to show up. Let's take this publicly and let's force some action, right? You force somebody's hand when you call them out, right? You want to fight someone at a bar? Yo, let's go outside. This is Reddick's camp saying, hey, let's go outside. Let's knuckle up. Let's figure this shit out because you know what? Monday is my deadline. Monday's the day that I get pissed off. 3 weeks to the opener. I've said August 19th, that Monday is my day where if he's not there, I start to go nuclear. And I don't want to do that. I'm a cool, calm, funny guy. I don't want to be yelling at kids at football because Reddick doesn't show up by Monday. So get this shit done over the weekend, hammer it out, break the news Saturday during the game, and let's go win a goddamn title. Thank you.
Man, hey, love it. Absolutely love it, Nick. I love the passion, man. I love the details you put into your freaking responses. Right. Jason Edwards,
I'm like Will Ferrell,
$5 super chat.
I'm like Will Ferrell in Old School. Like I black out. I'm gonna have to watch this back to figure out what I said
and see what I said. Hey, Jason, man, I appreciate you, brother. $5 super chat. In a bygone era, you only had your word, which was gold. This holdout is disappointing as a fan, but this embargo is financially responsible by JD. And I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think JD coming out with a statement talking about how he wasn't going to go ahead and bend the knee, so to speak, right? Like JD came out. We have informed Hassan Reddick that we will not trade him, that he's expected to be here with his teammates, and that he will continue to be fined per the CBA if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we have been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on guys we have in the building. Our focus will remain with the guys that we have here as we prepare for the regular season. I think this to me, when I saw this kind of come out, it was telling because it was so fast. It came out almost instantaneously as the news came out that he was requesting the trade. He came out and said, okay, bitch, I already told you how it was going to be. But you want to go ahead and make noise? I'll make noise too. You ain't going nowhere. You're going to go ahead and still be on this roster. Adam, how do you feel about this whole freaking Hassan Reddick situation, man?
My thought is when the trade was made and knew there was a contract issue, my thought was as long as this gets resolved by pretty much the weekend of the Carolina game, I'll feel pretty good about it. Because I didn't have a very good feeling with, somebody who's like 30, 31, taking that time off, basically coming right into the mix because there is that risk of injury when you don't have that time to ramp up. Revis's holdout ended, I believe, 8 days before the start of the season. Chris Jones missed one game. We know what Kansas City went on to do. But, I mean, here's the thing. In those situations, those players were the best players on the defense for their teams. The Jets and Hassan Reddick owe each other nothing right now. Yeah, Reddick needs the Jets desperately. I agree with what Stats said because we own his rights. at this point, and we could just continue to let him sit, rot away, continue to fine him. By the way, the fines are now over $1 million. The fact that he has lost $1 million by doing this in 20, my gosh, how do you lose $1 million in 3 weeks for not even showing up?
You're Drake gambling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but just the idea of that is just mind blowing to me that is even possible. But I think about it this way. I like the defense, but the defensive line to me is taking a hit right now. JFM played that two-way, that two-way defensive line. You know, he wasn't a pure pass rusher, but he set the edge, was good against the run. We know what Huff was as a pass rushing specialist. You can put the sacks in whatever context you would like, but he still was effective at times, though he did taper off a little bit later in the year. Quentin Jefferson, underrated piece interior. You know, had several sacks in the opening game against Buffalo. 20 sacks were lost. And what are we really counting on to replace them? Improvement from Will McDonald, Javon Kinlaw's 30 pounds from eating 9 eggs a day, and Hassan Reddick. That's basically what we're talking about right now. And if you look at get off, win rate, things like that, Huff and Reddick are top 5 players in the NFL. The Jets lost one, and they got the other one to replace the one that they lost. They can't afford, in my mind, to lose him. Now, does that mean you would go how far down you would go? We can't quantify that in terms of what level of defense you are. But I know this. I'm not interested in just being good. Guys, we don't know what this window is. We don't know how long we have Aaron Rodgers. And JD and Salah need to win now or this gets blown up. We have to hit it this year. So that innocent climb is out the window now. Need to be effective immediately. And that means Reddick has to play because you know what? He is going to take this defense up a level. This defense is predicated on generating pressure with your front four. They don't like to blitz, although I think it might be a good idea with some of the players that they do have. But it's all about the front four. Can I count on Michael Clemens to generate pressure consistently? I can't. So you know what? They both need each other. Yes, the Jets do have leverage, but I think the Jets know deep down that they need Reddick. Otherwise, they would have signed somebody in free agency instead of going out and giving up a future draft pick for Hassan Reddick. I was thrilled when the trade happened. I'm still glad that they made the trade. I expect this to get resolved. But damn it, I want him against San Francisco week 1.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I think we're all on the same page, man. I think the majority of us, when we talked about this, when I reached out to you guys talking about getting on the show tonight and kind of discussing this Hassan Reddick situation, my first thing was like, hey, who wants to debate against? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I don't think it's a need. He's more of a luxury. Everybody was just like, well, I can't help you there because I think he's a luxury, not really a need. Hassan Reddick has proven over the last 4 years he's a dog. I mean, again, he's top 4, I think top 5 right now in sacks over the last 4 years.
Yep.
The guy he's in addition he's a talent. He's elite. I won't lie about that. He makes the team better. He makes the New York Jets defense better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I also was excited about the freaking the trade. I thought it was a steal. You're talking about freaking a 3rd round pick that could potentially become a second 2 years from now on a $14 million deal. I think we've all had conversations talking about how if the New York Jets decided to go ahead and add some incentives to it to go ahead and bump that up to that freaking $20 million range, we were all on board with that. Add some layers to it so you can go ahead and make more money that he's going to be able to achieve because he has been that dog. But the concept was, from what it seems like, is that JD says if you want to go ahead and talk about freaking getting more money, get into the building. Never came into the building. He's been doing this thing where he's holding out and just having his agent handle things for him and losing money on a daily. So the fact that JD refuses to negotiate with tantrums, I think to me is something that shows, even though like his feet's to the fire, I mean, this is a guy like you guys were saying, like, if it doesn't work this season, you're fired. I think at the end of the day, freaking Woody is going to go ahead and do a clean sweep. He's not budging, which is why I think I'm a huge fan of JD. If I didn't know he had this level to him, I know he has it now. You said when you first got here, the contract wasn't your primary focus. So I believe wholeheartedly when he spoke with the front office, he told them, listen, I'm willing to come over there and freaking play football and how the contract works out, it works out. He understood what it meant coming to play here next to Quentin Williams, what that was going to go ahead and look like in terms of opportunities for him to go ahead and stack more sacks to his freaking resume. He understood that there's a chance that Jets would probably go ahead and sign him long-term, knowing how this defensive rotation works, how this front four needs to operate. I do believe now wholeheartedly that conversation was had. You know what? You don't want to accept the offer that we gave you, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, we still want to bring you on. Would you still come on here, play it out? We'll still talk about the numbers. I believe wholeheartedly he said yes. And to me, I'm frustrated now because he clearly lied. You step into One Jets Drive and you tell us like you're happy to be here. It's all about the game for you. You're going to go ahead and do your best, show that you're an asset. And the one thing you said you wouldn't do, you actually wind up doing anyway here. Thinking you have the advantage because of a third-round draft pick freaking 2 years from now. I think the New York Jets have all the leverage in this situation. And for those who are concerned about it, don't get it twisted, man. Like, we want Hassan Reddick. I'm not going to sit here. Everybody here is telling you, like, we want Hassan Reddick, but we're not going to go ahead and bend over backwards for Hassan Reddick. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the New York Jets are in a position to where, oh, man, are we going to be a top 3 defense or the number 1 defense that he now has all the leverage. If he's here, I think the New York Jets are in that conversation of being a number 1 defense in football. But in all actuality, if he's not here with the improvement on offense specifically, I think we can still be in the conversation for the number 1 freaking defense in football because now the offense is going to be better. Keep this in mind. The New York Jets defense is rated the top 3 the last 2 years in the NFL with a 32nd ranked offense in football. Think about that. These guys had almost 35% more snaps on the field than any other NFL team in the league last year. The defense did. And they were doing it against some of the top quarterbacks in football. The defense was giving the quarterbacks the ball over and over and over again. And these dogs continue to go ahead and play ball. So the one thing I will say about this coaching staff, we might all have question marks about whether or not Coach Saleh is a good head coach. We might have questions about whether or not offensively this guy's going to figure it out. The one thing that we can't debate or argue is that this team understands how to coach defense. We went from the 32nd ranked defense 3 years ago to a top 5 unit the following year. That is unheard of.
Yep.
And we've maintained that. I'm not worried about the defense. I'm just not. If this was a conversation about Tyron Smith holding out or Olu Fashion who didn't sign his freaking rookie deal, whatever. Like, if it was on the offensive side of the football, you'd see me freaking out. I'd be panicking. But this team has proven to us that the one thing they know how to do right is coach defense. I think Hassan Reddick is going to be there. I don't think he's going to go ahead and hold out in season and cost himself more freaking potential money, which the fines go up once the season gets here. And you also want to go ahead and get credit for having that contract done so you can pursue that deal next year. It makes zero sense for him to go ahead and sit out and cost himself a full season. As Mike stated earlier, the last time somebody tried that, a.k.a. Le'Veon Bell, it didn't work out too well in regards to his ability to not only produce but maintain his career. He's going to be 30 years old this year. He's a speed rusher, which, again, there's question marks with that too. He makes his money off of his speed. I know Tyreek Hill has kind of like been the anomaly, right? But Father Time is undefeated. Speed is the first thing that starts to go when it comes to these freaking athletes, when it comes to a speed guy. And that's where I'm a little bit I'm more concerned. I think the priorities for us are the Sauce Gardners of the world, the Garrett Wilsons of the world, the Breece Halls, the freaking JJs. Those are the guys I want to go ahead and put resources into. And I'm not on team pay this dude freaking, $25 million a year for the next 4. I'm just not. I can't do it. But get him out there. Give the man another $5 million in incentives to go ahead and offset the cost that he's obviously paying in fines. Maybe make it to where he can make $20 million this year. And whether y'all want to sign him next year or you want to go ahead and let him walk, I'm okay with either or next year. But for me, the focus is the guys we have in the building. Again, I want to emphasize, and I've seen people already coming like on me on social media because I posted like, yeah, he's not a necessity. He was a luxury. He was the cherry on top to our defensive line. We're not saying we don't understand his value. Nobody on this panel, even though we're all on the same page in regards to like how he's gone about it, is saying like, oh, Hassan Reddick doesn't make the Jets better. He does. He does. But I also don't think the Jets are going to fall off of a cliff because we don't have Hassan Reddick, who's never taken a single snap with the New York Jets. I can't get in that bubble of individuals who feel that way. But ultimately, I trust in Saleh and Ulbrich when it comes to the defense.
It's not that he doesn't make us better. It's that we don't fall off the cliff without him. The 49ers without Bosa, the Steelers without Watt
fall off of a cliff.
The Browns without Garrett, they fall off a cliff. It's true. Reddick is a nice pass rusher. Reddick gets home. But I don't view Reddick as that type of player. I don't. I think he can get to the quarterback. I do want to correct one thing in the chat. Infrared said that Hardman and Cook combined for $27 million last year. They combined for $11 million. Cook was $7 million. Hardman was $4 million. So that I just wanted to correct that. I saw a couple comments ago. He said that they got $27 million last year. That's not true. They got 11 combined, and we didn't have to pay the whole Hardman thing because we traded him. So just a correction there, buddy.
Gunny, I wanted to ask real quick to follow up on what you said. You said Reddick will be there. Specifically, do you think he will be on the field for the Jets Monday Night Football in Santa Clara, California against 49ers?
Now, this is where I'm split. I think that there's a very good chance that he's there suited up, ready to go. But I also think that there's a chance that all of a sudden he has a random hamstring strain or he pulls a muscle or something that, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting the vibe that if he's willing to go to this point, that this dude might be the kind of guy that would jeopardize his stock overall, but still getting paid for this season. My thought process to that is if he does wind up being that guy that shows up but doesn't really put his best foot forward, that he's only really hurting himself long term because, let's be honest, that's going to get out of the locker room one way or another. And you're going to miss out on an opportunity to put freaking quality tape on quality film on tape for you to get the bag next year. But I don't believe he missed. I think he'll be here on One Jets Drive or in California week 1 because the fines jump up dramatically once you start missing games. So I don't believe he's going to miss actual regular season games. Whether or not he's a functional part of our defense is where I'm like, I don't know. The character of this guy now I haven't questioned. After making that freaking, initial press conference to what we're seeing now, I can only question his character. I until I see otherwise, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to show up and actually put his best foot forward or if he's going to show up and throw a tantrum still and kind of drag, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I get concerned in regards to what version of Reddick we're going to get once he gets in the building.
Well, even at this point, you got to pitch count him to start, right?
Oh,
you got to treat him.
You
got to treat him now if he's injured. You're going to use him just as a third down, a second and long. You're going to make him earn his way because it's not a punishment, but it's a sign of respect to the rest of the guys who were there and the rest of the guys who worked, that they grinded. They were out here in August. They were out here for the camps. You just don't show up and replace them. You got to earn your keep. You got to put in the time on the practice field. You got to earn. Listen, he goes out and has a fucking 2-sack game against Brock Purdy, knocks the ball out, Quinnen scoops and scores.
We love you.
We're all going to forget about it.
We love you.
And Reddick jerseys will be ordered that night. Tens of thousands of them will be ordered that night. That's how fickle this fan base is.
We're a very forgiving fan base when you perform.
Who does it? We don't care. If you help us win a game, we are going to support you. There were people who wanted Chris Streveler jerseys because of what he did in a preseason game.
In the preseason.
So let's remind ourselves,
remember Mike
we
White,
are the
Mike
most
White mania?
fickle group of fans in the entire NFL. If you
Can
don't
you
want to be a
blame us?
part of us, we're shitting on
want
you.
to win.
You come and you do one little play, guess what? Merchandise through the roof. Like, that's Jets fans. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But I know all of you. That's how we are. Some of you have the jersey in the cart already on Fanatics, just waiting to hit purchase.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a Reddick jersey if he shows up and freaking helps us beat the 49ers in week 1.
Yeah, but Nick, that could be a replica, not an authentic. I can
100%. He's not kidding.
If my freaking membership of $5 goes towards a Reddick jersey, we're done. Done.
I would never, Nick. I would never disrespect your money like that.
I want it to go to strippers now.
And the thing about Reddick too is like we got
with less longer.
The thing about Reddick though is like we got to call out his bluff because why would you risk $15 million to try and make 10. So it's like he's trying to make what the $25 million range. So you're going to sit out a year, which, by the way, the Jets are going to hold your rights if you do that for the following year. So you're going to sit out a year. We still hold your rights. You lose $15 million, so you can try and make 10 more. The math just doesn't like. Again, like he said that he's going to let his agent handle the contract stuff. Dude, you should have fired your agent like weeks ago.
Who's his agent? Bernie Madoff?
This is what that agency does. They demand trades. They force your hand to get paid. This is what they do. This is the agency's playbook.
I think what's crazy about that is I think it's AJ from the Eagles. Brandon Ayuk also has the same agent as freaking
Debo last year.
Debo
I don't
well.
remember.
But those are all game changers. Those are all, you know what I mean? Like they have the ability to kind of like, hey, this is where I want to go.
Young, they're younger, right?
And young too. Yeah, they're not 30-year-old, pass rushers. Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Man.
They're guys who wanted their first extension. They're not guys who, for some reason, can get their quarterback, but keep getting traded away left and right from team after team after team. So he might not be the bad locker room guy, but you can still be a dick. And I think that why else? Like if you can hit the quarterback,
right.
If you can throw touchdowns and you can hit the quarterback, everyone wants that.
That's facts.
But if you can get the quarterback and have 4 straight years, double-digit sacks, and everyone's just like, all right. All right.
The last scene of one Jets drive.
Trade you for a conditional third 3 years from now. What's the issue?
And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm also concerned because the Eagles front office is not a bunch of dummies. These are some smart guys. So it's really made me wonder, like, is there something that is known that nobody else has known? Have they seen the decline in his play or are they seeing in practice where he's not having to get – we're going off of his stat lines from last season, right? Like, oh, man, double-digit sacks, freaking stud. He still got it. But your own team that you've been doing this for didn't feel you were worth extending in any capacity where they gave you away for a third-round pick. That, to me, got the whole what if in my mindset going. What if they were like, yeah, now we know he's washed. Remember freaking everybody used to give freaking Bill Belichick credit for this. His ability to go ahead and get rid of a player 1 year before the cliff came. Every single time.
Richard Seymour in his prime.
And exactly, right? So what if we're seeing a situation now where they were like, you maybe have one more good year in you. We're gonna get rid of you now all we can for peanuts. And you can be the other team's problem. Like, I've thought about this in terms of the why. Why isn't he betting on himself right now? If you're, 29 years old, you still believe you're a stud. You're about to have I think, one of the best situations for you on a defensive line than you even had with the Eagles, to where you're going to get more on one matchups, stack those freaking sacks, and force a team, no matter what. Listen, man, I did it again, 12, 14 sacks, whatever it is. Why is he freaking shying away from that and wanting to get paid now? Because he doesn't want to put anything on tape. That also has crossed my mind and having me kind of worried, like, the Eagles aren't a dumb organization. What are we not seeing?
That's spot on, Gunny. That is 100% spot on.
Yeah, but he's betting on himself, and he's doing it like a drunken idiot at roulette at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's putting half of his salary on black and the other half on red.
But the thing about betting on if you were really betting on himself,
green's going to come out.
If he were smart though, when he were really betting on himself, he would say, "Hey, listen, this team is probably could potentially go to the Super Bowl here. I'm going to be in a rotation where I'm going to be fresh all the time. I'm going to be getting so many sacks, and like Gunny was saying, like this is his opportunity. Even if this is a 1 year rental, which I'm in the park of, I don't want him more than 1 year, 2 years max, but I don't want him more than 1 year really." He's going to be able to maximize that value for next year. So like, I don't know what this dude is thinking, but it's like, there's no win for him. Like, he's not just going to bully his way into what he wants. It's just not going to happen.
And let's look at that. Exactly what you said is a great point. Let's look at it from the Jets side of things, right? All right. I'm Hassan Reddick. I want another year. Why would we give you another year to deal with the same exact shit next year?
Oh, and by the way, you haven't done shit for this organization. You've shown this
Yeah.
organization nothing.
Yeah.
The team you just
You know what
showed
he
it to
is?
for the last 3 years didn't want to do it. So we're supposed to go ahead and cough off the bill.
Do you know what he is? I'll tell you exactly what he is. You know you love my analogy, so I'm going to give you one.
I
Gunny.
do.
He's a 7.5 who thinks he's a 10.
He's a 10.
Who was engaged in his previous relationship, starts a new relationship and says, well, the last guy gave me a ring. When are you giving me a ring? We don't start off where you ended. We start off where we start off. We don't go down the wedding aisle right away. Like you get here, get into camp. Jets have said, get here, show up. That's all they're asking. They're not saying get out on the field. They're saying, hey,
just show up.
Get in the fucking building, dude.
He knows where the building is. He's been there for the flight series during the summertime.
So we've got a super chat real quick. Jet it out. Appreciate the $5 super chat, brother. Do the penalty goes back to the cap, or CBA takes it because whatever Reddick wants extra means just got to pay that plus what he's losing. So, from my understanding, it goes to the CBA, but it's split between the CBA and the team. If am I understanding that right? Like the CBA gets a portion because that goes towards stuff to help out,
it
players.
Doesn't get finalized though until he shows up.
Correct.
It doesn't get finalized because he's not earning any money.
He's not.
Yet.
But no matter what, it's there's no like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. You don't have to. He's got to pay it.
Correct.
It does not matter. He's got to pay it.
Jets can waive certain parts of it, but once you hold out a certain amount of time, you can't. So, but the Jets can add fake bonuses into it, right? Like if you have you have clean cleats at Wednesday on practice, we'll give you $20,000 bonus.
And that's how
he
would recoup some of it.
Fake fucking shit in.
I wouldn't want to do that though. Screw him.
I wouldn't either.
No.
For me, the way he's gone about this thing, I'd have been like, nah, bitch, just show up and do your job and you get paid as you're supposed to. Because he went about it the wrong way. He literally is trying to hold a gun to the Jets organization's head like, haha, you put a third round draft pick on the line for me. Bitch, have you seen our roster? Have you seen our defensive line?
and look at Michael Carter II and DJ Reed, who are in their final year of their contracts. They're not doing this crap.
They're not doing, bruh.
I
can't do it.
But
man.
Reddick's in a situation where it might be his last opportunity to get a multi-year contract. Reed and Carter heading into that. So this is where the desperation's coming in from Reddick and his camp. They know they have one last chance for a major deal because they see what these pass rushers are getting on the open market. 20, 25 million a year. He's making chump change at 15 million, slight sarcasm. So he will do anything. This is pure desperation and nothing more. It'll fade away in a couple days.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
It's to quote the Undertaker, phony tough, crazy brave. That's what him and his agency are doing right now. Why would the Jets extend you? You haven't been here. You're trying to drag our name through the mud in the media. You haven't respected us, the locker room, the organization, or the fans enough to show up and at least negotiate face to face. And now you want us to give you more years and top dollar, dude. Sit and rot, going to UFL, dude. Like, I you guys know me. Love Joe Douglas. I love Joe Douglas with all my heart.
Me too.
I will go on one of the wildest rants I've ever went on if we give him extra years at this point.
100%.
Now,
I would do that if they traded him. That's what would piss me off.
Because what are you going to do? You're going to give him a second year, and then come March, the same shit?
Can't do it. Cannot do it.
No.
Not only that, but we're gonna have to pay JJ pretty soon. We're gonna if Will McDonald pans out, we're gonna have to pay him. We're gonna have to pay Sauce. We're gonna have to pay we're maybe DJ
Garrett
Reed.
Reese.
We're gonna have to pay all these guys. We're not paying Reddick.
No.
It's not happening.
There's no scenario in which I believe they're going to give that man $25-28 million a freaking year to play over the next 3 years. There's just no way. No. And I'm confident that Joe Douglas is smart enough to not make that play.
But you can give him money this year.
100%.
Shout out to Eminon in the chat, who is an Undertaker. Shout out to you. Didn't even
actually found the urine. That's impressive.
And shout out to Weed the People who did make this background. I know Jay Quest was asking earlier. Weed the People made it. What was I going to say? My mind just went blank. Pow, thought bubble completely gone. Wow. Getting old.
While you're figuring that out,
Good job, 25-year-old. Okay.
What were we just talking about right before I try
Reddick not getting
about
paid.
not getting paid for the next several years.
Do what you did with Tyron Smith.
There it
Tyron
is.
Smith's playing for $6.5 million. If we make it to the Super Bowl, he gets paid 20.
Yeah.
We want Tyron Smith to make $20 million.
I
this year,
want
because it
that.
means
I
he
want
didn't
that.
start.
Yep.
You know what? Here's what we do. Here's $500,000 a sack. We'll guarantee
Same
your
for Williams,
$14 million. Here's $500,000 a sack. We win the division. Here's $1 million bonus. We win a playoff game. Here's $1 million bonus.
Yep.
Win the AFC. Here's $1 million bonus. Win the Super Bowl. Here's $1 million bonus. Load it up. Where hey, listen, you started off really bad, but if we win and you produce, you can make up to 28. It's up to you, dude.
That's
Go earn your
only
money.
if that's only after he shows up. I'm not doing that shit beforehand. It's once he's in the building and he's shown that he's wants to be a football player. If Jody wants to take that route, I'm 100% on board. Pay the man freaking $30 million this year for I don't care. As long as it's incentive based off of what we can achieve as a team.
Yeah.
And you get him off the books freaking with 28, 30 mil, whatever it is. You get him off the books and he's not here next year. I'm 100% for it. But I'm sorry.
I want to hear this weekend. I want to hear that Joe Douglas did not travel with the team to Carolina. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that Joe Douglas did not travel with the team, which tells us negotiations are going on.
Reddick, that makes sense.
Reddick landed at Teterboro or wherever else, and he was seen at the building. That's what I want to see. But
so real quick,
I gotta
jet
run.
it out.
I gotta head to bed.
I'm about to call it right now too. It's 2 hours. This is the longest thing that I've had. Real quick, jet it out. I believe we've answered it, but again, it's going to be. I think it's a portion to the CBA and a portion to the team. But as Nick was saying, they can go ahead and get him some of that money back via freaking incentives of, hey man, you had white cleats on for this, whatever, right? Whatever they want to do to go ahead.
They can make up bullshit.
Yeah, but it will, no matter what, it's going to the CBA and a portion to the team. But they can go ahead and get it back to him. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. This is by far my longest. I think this is my longest freaking stream. 2 hours.
You're gonna blame me with the wife. I'm already.
I am. I'm gonna go let her know that you jumped on and you go ahead and drag things along. Well, you already know how it works, brother. It's nothing personal.
I accept my role, pal. I know my role.
I appreciate you. But guys, just go ahead and tell the people where they can go ahead and find you at. Nick, I know you're about to jump off. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
I'll be sleeping in about 6 minutes. Proud NYJ fan. Tomorrow night, I got a good buddy of mine coming on. We're going to do a fantasy football special. We'll cover the Jets for like the first half hour. Then we're going to get into fantasy football. He's also, for those of you who are into card collecting, he runs a business, Break Buds. So he's going to be on. We're going to be talking about some other stuff. We'll get some Jets in. He's a Packer fan, so we'll talk about some Rodgers. From his aspect and then what he thinks about preseason. Should Rodgers play? Should he not? And go from there. Sunday night with VR at 9, Sunday shenanigans, and Thursday night at 10 o'clock. So, and then occasionally I pop on here and there. Subscribe on TikTok, Proud NYJ Fan, Instagram, Proud NYJ Fan, and YouTube. I am 39 away from 1,000. I should be about 25 away after tomorrow, and all these kids subscribe. Otherwise, they're running sprints they want no part of.
Incentives.
Thank you, everybody. Mike, it's a pleasure. It's been a while. Adam.
Take it easy.
Good night,
Later,
Nick.
Gunny.
Good to see you,
Later,
sir.
brother.
All right,
Appreciate
chat. Have a good night. Be good, man. Much success to all of you. Peace.
Later, man. Adam, where can the people find you, brother?
You can find me at NY Sports WickerMedia. Do my shows Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So we'll do another hour, 2 hours, just whatever we feel like in the moment. And you know the deal. That's the place to find the Jets trivia. And enough likes, we spin the infamous Jets wheel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, come on down to the show tomorrow night. Hit the like button because that is where the biggest craziness on YouTube comes down if you're a Jets fan. Who are we going to spin on? Sometimes, and just like last week when we landed on Kyle Wilson, we had to rank him our number one Jet on our top 10 list. It was rather depressing. If you don't know what I mean, you got to check it out. And I agree with Jet Smith. You know what? I will donate the wicker chair to Hassan Reddick if that is what makes a difference in this contract. He can have the wicker chair. But I do Mets, Jets, Rangers, and Knicks. Those are really my teams. I'll do some other random stuff from time to time. As of late, it's been a couple of Mets rants. And I think I might have one coming up after this latest disgrace tonight. But I'm about 60 away from 1,000 subscribers myself. So Yeah, definitely
Hey,
appreciate everybody's support for sure.
Listen, everybody's link is in the description. Please go to the description. Go follow these guys. They're putting out quality content, man. They're trying to make sure to keep you informed as sports fans, sports fanatics. Adam does great work. Nick does great work. Mike does great work. So again, if you're trying to go ahead and keep informed, understanding what's going on in your realm of sports, these are the guys you want to follow. Again, all of their pages are linked in the description. I appreciate you, Adam.
Appreciate you too, Gunny. Have a good night. Stat, good to see you too. See everybody tomorrow.
Later, brother.
Take care.
Mike, my guy, tell the people where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, everybody can find me at Hangar Hangout chat on every Tuesday. As a fan of the show,
my guy.
As a fan of the show, I'll be watching, of course. But yeah, it's been an honor, Gunny. Again, thank you so much for having me. I'm subscribed to every single one of the gentlemen that were here tonight. But yeah, I love talking Jets. Everybody in the chat was fantastic today. I can't wait to see you guys next week.
Brother, as always, I'll text you tomorrow, bro. We talk every freaking day.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gunny. Appreciate it, bro. Take care.
Oh, man, I appreciate you guys, man, for hanging out at the hangar tonight, man. It was a good time. Appreciate all of the guys that came on, Tigo, Adam, Nick, Mike, man. It was a good conversation. Jets freaking first preseason games officially in the books. We're going into freaking game 2. I'm excited for it. You should be excited for it. Hassan Reddick situation, it does suck. Right now, we're in that whole same old Jets freaking category. Media's having a field day. The Buffalo Bills fans having a field day. Dolphins fans are having a field day. Oddly enough, Patriots fans are oddly quiet for the first time in a long time. It is what it is. But I appreciate y'all for chopping it up with me, man. We got up to 97 individuals in the hangout tonight. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the memberships this evening. Wanted to go ahead and make sure that you guys are all tracking. There is currently an ongoing giveaway that I'm doing right now for a Will McDonald mini helmet, autographed mini helmet. That's over here somewhere. It's behind me somewhere. Shout out to my boy Gino, the Italy Jet, for coming through with my, my order of memorabilia for the 2024 season. So again, if you're a member of the channel, if you're subscribed, if you're part of the Fantasy Football League, I've got all the stuff, all the goods, right? So some cool giveaways happening. If you're not aware of the Will McDonald mini helmet autographed giveaway, I did a video yesterday that's breaking news about the Hassan Reddick situation, asking for a trade. I urge you to watch it to the end. You'll get the instructions on how you can enter yourself into potentially being, you're going to be entered into the freaking giveaway, and we're going to be announcing the winner for the giveaway next Tuesday in the Hangar Hangout. So specifically, if you haven't had a chance yet, check out that video, watch it to the end, get the instructions, and then hopefully your name gets called next week. But I appreciate y'all. Vero, again, your autographed Conklin mini helmet is on the way. Sent you the information this morning, and I appreciate you for being the official first member of my channel. First member, right? Gunny's Alpha Team member. So I appreciate you, brother. That's on the way. Hopefully you can share that with us here next week when we get on the Hangar Hangout. But that's it. 2-hour stream, longest stream I think I've done thus far. Episode 20 was a blast. Again, thank you all for chopping it up with me. Thank the special guest that I had on the show, chopping it up with me. And right now there's still 85 of y'all hanging out watching the stream. We got to a peak of 90, I think it was 97. We're almost to 100. I haven't hit 100 yet. I'm hoping to get that here sometime soon. Hopefully that happens here over the next couple of weeks. But football's back. Football's back. Be excited. I'm excited. Go Jets.